Yes, so our recording has started now. So I'd like to say a big welcome to our two guests for tonight. We have Madam Layo Ladepo. She's the Chevening Program Officer for Nigeria. Just in case you don't know what a program officer does, she's actually like the contact person for those people who are applying for Chevening in Nigeria. It applies to all other countries. Whatever country you're from, each country has their own program officer. And of course, we can't get all the program officers, but we've gotten Madam Layo, and we are sure that she's going to do justice to all your questions. And we also have Mr. Evan Eghan. He's a Chevening alumni. He's the president of Edinburgh Napier University, if I got the pronunciation well. He's also a Chevening social media ambassador. He's very experienced, and I'm sure he will also do justice to your questions tonight. So I'll just allow our guests to give us a brief introduction. Maybe I didn't introduce them very well, so they'll just tell you about themselves again. See their beautiful faces. I'm so excited to see them. Yes, Madam Layo, you're welcome, ma. Please, can you introduce
Hi,
yourself to
Janet.
us again?
Hi, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can, definitely.
Hi, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here. Janet has already said what I do. So I've been running the program alongside another Chevening officer in Lagos. Her name is Boma. So both of us run the Chevening program together in Nigeria, based in Abuja. And I've sat on quite a number of panels over the last few years. And so I'm really excited to be here. I'm looking forward to sharing what I can, because I cannot share everything, obviously, but it's a pleasure to be here. And I've had a look at some of the questions that you sent in, so I'm looking forward to responding to them here. And for anything that might be too tough for me to respond to, I can take it away and you will send me an email and then we can follow up. But let's just see how it goes today. Thank you, Janet, for having me
Thank
here.
you. Thank you so much, ma. We're grateful. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedule to be with us. Okay, Ivan, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I guess everybody can hear me now. Okay, great. So my name is Evan. I am a Chevening alumni. Um, Probably maybe not officially alumnus because I'm yet to graduate, so I'll still leave that till like next week, and I can confidently say that I am a fresh Chevening alumnus. But yes, prior to applying, I have been a filmmaker all my life, been acting, producing, directing. Ghana, Nigeria has always been my second home. Run my own film festival, and then that gave me enough background experience to be able to put in my application. And currently the student president of Edinburgh Napier University Students Association, which has really been exciting. I am here. I'm really happy to be here. Exactly. And also, I know Layo would definitely give you a well-experienced feedback from Chevening's perspective side. I'll also be able to represent probably somewhere that you want to be and be able to share my experience prior to application, my experience being able to go through the process to this point as well. And I hope it will be a valuable instrument for you as we're preparing to finalize your submissions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evan. We're grateful. Okay, so straight up to the questions that we have. So, guys, I want you to listen attentively. You don't feel like you know everything already. People asked these questions because they needed clarity. So just listen as they answer and take down notes. If you don't have your notepad with you, what are you waiting for? Go get it so you can get your notes down. So I'll just go to my first question, my first question for Madam Layo. So she will open the session for us. So, Ma, can you tell us about Chevening? Like, say, for example, and none of us knows about Chevening. Just tell us about Chevening. Why Chevening? Why should we even apply for? Is it a JATMA scheme? If I just apply for Chevening, I can run to the UK and I'll not go back to my country. So, just give us an overview of what Chevening is, what the expectations are from your perspective as a program officer.
Okay, thank you, Janet. So I am guessing because the number of people who are here are people who already have been writing their essays. You've been practicing with them over. So I believe that they should be very, very aware of what the Chevening program is. But in summary, it is one of our flagship scholarships. It's funded by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office along with partner organizations. And it is aimed at looking for leaders, people who can make changes, potential leaders, leaders already, people with great networking abilities, and people who have the ability to influence others to make change. So that's basically what it is. And it's for 1 year masters only. And what we do is we go through thousands of applications every year to look for the best of the best. So Janet, for you to be sitting down here, and also our friend here from Ghana, you guys are talented. Otherwise, you will not be sitting here and running this program, right? This session this evening. So, I mean, you are the perfect example of the kind of people we're looking for, because you were able to show us through your essays and also through your interview the impact that you were able to make in different areas across your localities, across your communities. So that's what Chevening is. And, you know, the offer is amazing. It is fully funded scholarship, and it is available in over 140 to 160 countries. Every year, the numbers change, but that's what it is. And it is one of the best scholarships that are out there, because everything is covered, you know, from arrival allowance to departure allowance to allowances to go and attend. Has your orientation ceremony happened yet? Almost.
It's in November 23rd.
Oh, it's in November. Okay, soon. Then, you know, you have the orientation ceremony where you go and you meet all the scholars that have, you know, are beneficiaries of that particular year in one place, you know, and then you have the ability, you know, to network with different scholars as well as other alumni from your universities. So it's a great opportunity. And people who should apply are people who have strong academic backgrounds. You have to really be solid, as in you should have completed your undergraduate degree and should be able to show us through your work experience and through your qualifications that you've been able to impact in one way or the other. So I would say, in summary, that is what it is about. I mean, our eligibility requirements are all there. One of the most important parts of the eligibility requirement is that whoever it is that goes on this scholarship will spend 1 year in the UK and will come back home, at least for a minimum of 2 years before they go back, you know, to the UK or any other country that they want to go to. That doesn't mean you cannot visit the UK, but what we mean is that since you have acquired all of this knowledge, you have told us in your career plan that you're going to make these changes in your country, then we expect you to come back home to make those changes. So in a nutshell, that is what the Chevening scholarship is. And then we have about 1,500 alumni across Nigeria. So I think I'll stop here. I'm sure the questions will come later.
Yes, it's thank you so much, Ma. All right, I'm going to ask Evan to give us from a scholar perspective. You know me, I can't talk now because I'm just coming in. Evan has spent over 1 year already, so he would be able to tell you what it feels like being a Chevening scholar. So you'll be encouraged to put in your best to write in your essays. So Evan, tell us.
The experience is definitely unmatched. I always say that in the preparation process, if Chevening is going to sponsor you for, I think, a total amount of over £50,000 or probably £60,000, it really gives you the opportunity to just make sure that you give off your very best in the application process. And it depends on you. You will be able to tell how long it would take you to be able to gather everything that you need to make you like a very great Chevening material. But whatever that would take you, take the risk, do all that you need to do. Because again, Chevening scholarship is really different. And from my perspective, I think what some of the freedom it gives you is the opportunity to choose your own university you want to attend, select your own program that you want to do. Not, I mean, unlikely to other scholarship that would tell you, oh, you need to be at this age, you need to do this particular program, or you need to go to this university. Is no, it gives you the freedom to make your own choices. And so I think it's one of the things that makes it outstanding. Now, when you have been awarded the scholarship, that's where the excitement begins, right? You get everything done for you. Like you get everything done for you from visa processing to flights down here. You actually get paid, I think, about 2 or 3 months ahead when yet before you even make the move from your home country. You come in, you get your orientation, you get to meet so many people. There are several volunteering opportunities for you to explore. And then when you finally get in to be able to start your program, it still gives you the freedom because unlike other students who are paying their own fees, you do not have that worry of what are you going to eat, where are you going to sleep, or how are you going to get money to pay your tuition fee. Everything is paid, so it gives you the freedom to be able to explore all your academic ambitions that you do have, all the cultural aspirations that you want to be part within the UK. It gives you the freedom to be able to just be part of the community and explore, network, be able to just just explore as much as you can. And so from a scholar's perspective at this point in time, I will definitely urge you to invest all the things that you need to invest to be able to, you're like, it's not money, it's just a matter of your time. And like I always say, if you're not a Chevening material yet, because Chevening is for specifics, looking for specific people who have been able to create impact their own communities in several forms and capacities. So if you are not there yet, you will be able to probably just delve deep into some of the things that you need to do to make you a Chevening material and put you ahead of the competition, because it's really competitive. I'm sure Janet will be able to tell you our time. We had over 72,000 people applying. And so if you want to be one of the best to be selected, it means that you need to be able to show all the relevant impact that you've been able to create to just give you that additional edge to be able to get you in the door. So do all the things that you need to do. And when you get to the other side, it's really fun throughout.
Thank you, Evan. So let's just go straight to the questions, and we'll start with Madam Layo. So the first question we want to ask is, how does the Chevening program define leadership, potential, and networking? Remember, guys, that you're writing 4 essays: your leadership, networking, study in the UK, and your career plan. So this question is, how does the program define leadership, potential, and networking ability? And are there particular qualities that Chevening wants to hear? Are there particular qualities that they are looking for in these leaders that they want to select, Madam Layo?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier on, quite a number of you have already completed or are completing your application. So you are probably writing your essays now or fine-tuning them. And for leadership potential, from the question, it's very clear because it says we're looking for individuals who will be future leaders or influencers in their home countries. And so using clear examples, how do you meet this requirement? And the same thing for the relationship building and shared learning is we're looking for professional relationship building skills. So people who will engage with the Chevening network, that's very important because apart from interacting and engaging with Chevening scholars in the UK, there's also the alumni network when you go back to your home country. How do you intend to work with them, and how do you intend to influence change when you go back or come back home, because we're home now, you know? So leveraging on your networks, building on those networks is what is important, because the journey doesn't just stop in the UK. It continues when you come back, and the links that you build when you come back, how you maintain those links, how you leverage on those networks. And what was the second part of the question?
If you could provide examples of specific qualities that they are looking for.
Okay, so to be honest, I mean, it's open blanket. What I mean is that for even on the website, it says there is no typical Chevening scholar. So for every person who gets to the next stage, from the essay writing stage to the interview stage, there is something original and specific about that person. So Janet, what you would, what qualities you would have is totally different from what our brother from, I'm so sorry, Evans, right? Or Evans? Yes. The qualities that he would have exhibited in his own essay, because we're looking for originality. We're looking for people who are authentic, people who have their own stories to tell, and people who have been able to make changes in specific areas of their lives, in their experiences. So it's not like you're copying someone else's experience. You are sharing your own experience, which is different from everyone else's. Wow, it's going to rain. So what we do is we're looking for people who are forging into a new territory. Forging into new territories means that there is the common, there are the people who have done certain things, maybe in climate change, and you are coming up with something totally new, something totally different from somebody else. And they're like, wow. So for example, someone sitting on a panel who is already in climate change, climate finance, climate education, and they sit down and they listen to someone who is bringing up a fresh new idea that somebody hasn't brought before. I tell you, you will stand out more than the next person, because you are trying to solve a problem that other people haven't been able to solve. So apart from trying to solve problems that are UK, Nigeria specific, and I mean not just UK, Nigeria, maybe UK, Ghana, or UK, any other country, you're also looking for global problems that are yet to be solved. And how you solve those problems is what will make you stand out differently from somebody else. So, and then we also want you to have structure in your essays. I'm sure you've already done that while preparing your essays. Your essays need to be structured. So if you are highlighting your strengths through 3 examples, let us say, even the way you structure those essays to tell your story has to make sense. It has to be concise. It has to be smart. That means it has to be specific, measurable. It has to be achievable. That means it has to be realistic, right? And then it has to be time bound. So we also want to see evidence of that. We want to see data when you're writing your essays, because some people make up things. They make up things, and when they make these things up, sometimes they can get into like maybe a panel in front of, at an interview. And by the time you begin to lie about information, you don't know whether we've read about it. Because when we read those essays before the interview, we already know what we want to ask you. We already know what follow-up questions we want to ask you. So if you have made things up, we've Googled you, we've searched, and we know that no, this story is not true, we will find out at the interview. So those are the kind of people we're looking for. We're looking for originality and people who have been able to influence others to make change, and then positive change. But then sometimes it's not all the time they're able to show us examples where everything has been positive all through. But then the fact that you have a thought process, and we can see that even though you are able to make a small impact, but you have the potential to make a larger impact, and that means you've learned lessons from that experience. And so that finally takes you to lessons learned, which is at the end of the STAR approach. So I think, this is what we're looking for. And as I said, everybody's story is different. It depends on how you captivate us, at an interview and through your essays, because your essays have to be sifted as strong essays before we can even sift you for interview. I think I'll stop here.
Thank you so much. That was very great. So guys, bottom line, don't lie. Your essays has to be structured, because if you lie, they will catch you at the interview and you just totally lose your chances. So don't look down on your examples to say, oh, my examples are small. Just say it the way it is. And if they see that sincerity and your essay is something that is believable, is well structured, I mean, you might just get called for the interviews. Okay, so there's a question here. I'll just ask Evan that question. It says, during the application process, are we uploading international passports details at any point? Do we have to snap the data page of our international passports? What if I don't have a passport yet? I mean, this is an international scholarship. You are leaving your home countries and you're going to another country. So is it important that I get my passport now? So Evan will answer, then Madam Layo will balance it.
That question, I think Madam Layo will be because I'm just trying to read back at some of the basic requirements that you're supposed to do. But I think during the application process, I do not know for sure, but I don't think during the application process, if you do not have the passport yet, it will be too mandatory for you to have it. I think in the process, because you will eventually be traveling, and so it will be essential for you to get a passport. But I think off the top of my head now, I do not remember whether during the application process you're required to provide your passport. Your passport number. I do not know that for sure. But I think it will be one of the very primary requirements if that is mandatory for you to have.
Madam Layo would answer.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope I'm not breaking because Janet, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can actually.
Okay. Yes, so it's not a requirement. I mean, even with this new application process, I'm sure a lot of people have noticed that nobody has asked you to upload any documents. So this new application form doesn't ask you for documents because they would only ask you if you are sifted for interview. So in the past, we would have people uploading all kinds of documents, and all of that is not necessary anymore. If you make it for interview, then that's when you'll be allowed to go in and upload those documents. As far as the passport is concerned, it is not a priority at the point where you're submitting your application. Even at the point of interview, you might not have it, but it's good that you have it in case you're successful, because it means that you're going to be submitting a visa application, and that is the essence of the passport. But for identification purposes, if you're going to an interview and you do not have an international passport, no one is going to penalize you for that. All we would say is, can I see your, whatever form of identification you have? So that is the answer to that question.
Thank you, Ma. But sincerely, I feel like if you're intentional about getting the scholarship, your passport is something that you should prioritize getting, right? Particularly in Nigeria, I had to renew my passport before coming, and it was ready in 1 week. So basically, if you have your money, it's a good investment for you. Just invest it in getting your passport. You can even be like me. I like to pray. You can be praying with your passport, and you might never know. Okay, so let me go to the next question. What common mistakes do applicants make during the application process? And what advice do you have to make an application stand out? So common mistakes. So the question is for both of you. So Ivan, give it a shot. What common mistakes do the applicant make?
I think not. First, I think I would say not sticking to the primary requirement of the application process. You obviously supposed to have minimum of 2 hours, minimum of 2 years working experience. Some people will still apply even though they do not have that experience, for sure. But in terms of the essay writing mistakes, I mean, the first mistake you ever do is to not being original, like not telling your own story. That will be the first mistake because it will be a court, like it's popular in Nigeria. there will be a court, because you'll be found out, and they will know that this is not coming from you. Again, some people actually also do have the story, but they do not know how to tell it. And I think Chevening website is always advising, follow the star approach, follow the star approach, follow the star approach everywhere. People still find it quite difficult following the star approach. And it's really simple. Just tell out the situation, the taxes required to get the situation sorted out, what you actually did to get the situation sorted out, and the results. And for me, I always advise people that, especially, even though all the 4 essays are highly important, I always say that the leadership essay is the foundation of the rest of the essays. And in applying the STAR approach, which is the STAR approach, I think it will be easier for you if you add extra R, especially in your leadership essay. And it's still STAR, but this time it's STARR. And the extra R is your reflection of what you think you need more, because at the end of the day, you need to be able to identify what you want to do more, and that's the reason why you need Chevening scholarship to be able to support you to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So in reflecting on your leadership experience, you'll be able to tell that, okay, I'm lacking this skill set, and that's the reason why I want to study these courses in these universities, to be able to equip me with the skill set to be able to propel me in my future goal. And so you need to be able to do that. And also, sometimes I'm just saying that you should be able to have that transition in your essays, to be able to have all the 4 essays quite consistent. And in doing that, you have like a very striking line in your essays that you make it reflect in all of the essays. My assumption is that maybe you are not lucky enough to have one person reading all your essays. And so if you really you don't have that connecting transition in all the essays, and you have it so independent, and one person reads as a leadership essay, another person go read relationship, it might not really be able to find it. Okay, where is it coming from? What's that thing that is transitioning to be able to now have this connecting to this point? And so you just kind of give everybody like a little background in all the essays that you're writing. So when they read here, you know that, oh, okay, yeah, this is what he was talking about here. Oh, okay, this is what she was talking about. Oh, this is what they were all talking about at this point in time. So you need to be able to apply that. Then again, I think some of the mistakes that you are likely to also make is the fact that you do not research into the universities that you want to apply to. And sometimes, because everybody's talking about, oh, you want this, but do you really understand some of the courses that goes into, like the modules that goes into your program, that you believe are your very necessary like modules that will give you that extra edge that you're looking at? Have you also researched to find out even where your universities are situated, and knowing that, does it reflect? Because at the end of the day, when you come into the UK, it's not just about the learning of the programs. You need to be integrated into the community. You need to understand what the community is about. And so it's quite essential for you to be able to research into even where your university are situated in, what is so unique about the city that your university is situated, so that you can be able to draw some of these inspirations into some of the reasons why you want to study in this university, so that it gives you that human touch, that your aspiration touch to the essays that you're writing. And so you do not have to take them for granted. Yeah, I think in the essay writing, these are some of the things that I think the applicants tend to make, and I think it can affect their essay writing. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. So from what you said, what I got was that all 4 essays can be seen as one. So there has to be like a tiny thread that connects each of the essays. So in your leadership, you cannot be talking about agri. Can you come to networking? You're talking about health, and you're talking,
Yeah.
and the whole essay is just scattered. So see your essay as one essay talking about something that you are passionate about. The same thing around, that's not to say you cannot bring other experiences from different fields, but establish your ground on one field. If you say, oh, I'm in education, let us know that, oh, this person is going out for education. Do you see? So I'll just allow Madam Layo wrap up in 1 minute or two, because we have lots of questions. So we want to hit the nail on the head and move ahead.
Okay, so I mean, it's the same thing both of you have been saying. So we're looking for fusion and how the different essays are interrelated, you know. But other things that you have not mentioned, which are general mistakes that are actually made, is especially with plagiarism, people assuming that they can copy somebody's essay and submit that. You know, those are part of the things that will throw your application out. Now, with the eligibility criteria, there's the quiz at the initial stage of the application form. So once you do not meet the eligibility requirements now, it throws you out. So I guess that new system, because this is a new form, I think this is to be able to curtail the number of people that are applying when they are not eligible to apply from the onset. Unless you go and you twist the answers where you know that it definitely means that, you know, that you are trying to deceive whoever it is that is reading your application. Then, you know, when you are talking about your leadership essay, highlighting what you have been able to do in an example, even when you work with another team, the work that you have done is very important, so that you are highlighting what I have done and not what we have done. That's also very important. Evans was talking about the study in the UK essay and doing your research well is very important. And then it's also important for us to see what else about the university you found attractive and why you chose that university. And then having a realistic career plan. So I don't want to shoot this answer because both of you have already spoken about the common errors.
Yes, thank you, Ma. And the next question is, somebody's asking, the universities I chose are not Chevening partners, because we all know that, or maybe you guys don't know, but Chevening has partner universities that they work with here in the UK. So the person is saying that, oh, the universities I chose are not Chevening partners. Is that a problem? Will that affect my chances?
Okay, let me answer that first. You know, even when you check on the website, you will see that we have corporate partners and we have university partners. So for the university partners, what they do is they look for scholars. They look for Chevening scholars, should I say, people who have gone through the Chevening process, because they're looking for international students that are doing well. And because we are already known, this scholarship is already prestigious. Everybody knows that. If you get a Chevening scholar, it means that they are one of the best from their country. Then it means it helps them also. I'm not trying to say international students are not doing well and they're not the best of the best, but they know the stress involved in going through the application process, Chevening's application process in the first place. So for you to be selected means that you are a strong candidate already. So that's one of the reasons why the universities partner with Chevening to support some of these applications. But the experience is totally the same. You will not even know the difference, even if you are a partner scholar, because what it means is that they're just helping with the funding. Some of the advantages of being a partner scholar is that those organizations, let's not talk about the universities now, we're talking about the corporate bodies, they have access to you if you want them to have access to, because it's not compulsory. So because maybe their CSR says that they can go ahead and spend a certain amount of money to sponsor someone or part sponsor someone, means that they want to have that relationship and that network, because they are also in it because of the network that they're going to gain. But it has nothing to do with you being selected or not. Nobody looks at that from the initial stage. Maybe towards the end, if, for example, they have selected all the scholars that they need, and then there's one particular person who a partner organization wants, they can now say that, okay, this particular guy, I'm going to pay for half of their tuition. And so because of that, Chevening will draw that person in. So I'm not saying that it is not an advantage, but it does not matter which university you choose in the long run. It is only at the dying moment, if we were trying to select the last person, and then some organization comes up to us and says, you know what, I am willing to spend this amount of money just to make sure this particular person goes onto the program because I like the ideas this person has. So that is the impact of the partnership. But it does not affect, the university, the academics, and all of those things. I hope that's clear.
Yes, it is. There's a question that is slightly close to that. Someone is asking, is it a good idea to pick a university with a lower tuition fee with the hopes of increasing the chances of getting the scholarship, as this will be less on Chevening's budget? Chevening has money. Don't help them manage it. Or should I feel free and pursue my interested schools because of the course I am pursuing, which is renewable and sustainable engineering? The tuition fee for some schools is almost twice that for others. Although I don't think I should, but does cleverly chipping in such a point strengthen one's study in the UK essay?
Maybe you should get Evan to speak first before I speak.
Evan, okay, go ahead. They want to help Chevening manage their money. So what do you have to say?
It's really an interesting perspective. I've never thought about that, but it's just quite like just excited just hearing that. I don't think you need to manage for Chevening on their behalf. They know how to do their stuff. You don't need to manage for them. I think the only concern that Chevening shares on the website is that if you're studying MBA, and I think your fees is more than 22,000 as an
£2,000, yeah, that's it.
You have to be prepared to probably fund the remaining. But I know some of my friends in Glasgow University who were not doing MBA, and their tuition fee was still even over that same amount. So in selecting the process, in selecting your programs, do not be worried about whether Chevening will be able to pay or not. That is not your problem. Your problem is to focus on what programs are going to give you that edge to be able to achieve your career goal that you've already established in your essays. So focused on that. And if it gets to the point, I don't think if your fee is £10,000, Chevening will choose that over someone's fee who is that is 20,000 because yours is less. I don't think they would do that. They will select you not because your tuition fee is low. They will select you because your program gives the significant insight into what you'll be able to do in your career plan. And so I think that should be what you should be worried about, not you saving Chevening money. They're too rich.
Yeah, just
very, very, very true. I don't know about being too rich because it's getting more expensive every year. So like even this year, we have an additional £1,500 per scholar. So, that even affected our numbers this year. We didn't have as many scholars leaving because of this. But, in addition to what you said, the only time I know that Chevening will take their time, to maybe compare the pricing of universities is whether it is inside of London or outside of London. That means if they find that there's an option of a university that is slightly cheaper than living in London, in a university in London, studying in London, then they will give you the option of the one that is less expensive outside of London. You understand? That is the only time that I know that sometimes they might negotiate with you after you have chosen your 3 courses. But then it also depends on what you got an unconditional offer for. You understand? But I think you should focus on what it is that you're trying to gain from the scholarship, and the universities that will have the course that would improve your knowledge and skills and help you to fill the knowledge gaps, instead of trying to manage Chevening's money for them. They know how they manage their budget every year. So don't worry about that.
just another slight question. Is there any problem choosing an MBA? Any problem aside the money part? I don't know why the person is asking. That's what Madam Layo. Is there any program
No,
choosing?
I think that's the same thing that Evans just said. It is the fee cap. That's just it. Once you hit £22,000, then the rest will be paid for by you, because MBAs are quite expensive.
Yeah.
So they just had to put that cap there. That's just it. But there's no problem with it. You can go ahead and choose an MBA, but then you might have to pay the difference if it is higher than £22,000.
Yes, thank you. Okay, someone is asking, I think you slightly answered this question already. I observed that there's a slight change in the application section for references. Previous years had a button where you will click and upload signed letters, blah, blah, blah. But this time you only input their names, phone numbers, occupation, emails, and before I submit my application, I want to be clarified on this subject. And there's another person who asked if he or she can use their senior colleague at work as a referee, because they both work together in an hospital, blah blah blah. We still have yearly meetups. We should be considered a strong reference. Okay, so what does Chevening consider a strong reference? Can I use my uncle, my auntie?
As long
Can I
as you
use
don't
Madam
use your
Layo?
family. Academic or professional, that is what we're looking for. Someone that you know in that space who can write about you and can vouch for you and can say, okay, I've worked with this person for this number of years, and this person has been able to perform and been able to do this and this and this and that, so just expressing the capacity in which they have worked with you. But not your family friend or family member or anybody like that, And then with regards to the application form, as I said, this year that has changed. Nobody is asked to complete or upload any documents anymore. If you get to interview stage, because this is a new system, ASAMS, now I think at that stage, they'll open the portal for those who have made it to interview, and then they can go in and upload their documents. So the process has changed. It's not the same anymore. So for your documents, for your reference letters, all of them applies. You can't upload anything at this point. So please go ahead and move on to the next stage and complete your application. Don't worry about that.
Yes, thank you. Someone's asking, how does the Chevening scholarship program align with the UK global priorities in my country, and how do I identify that? Who wants to go? Evan.
Regarding that, I think it's just about you doing your research, right? Just go on the High Commission in your country. You'll be able to find some of the things that you're doing. So using myself as an example, I was in the creative space, so I was looking into what the UK government operates or kind of initiate some of the creative projects through British Council. So instead of going to the High Commission's website, I'd rather go to British Council, and I'll be able to tell all the things that they were doing in the creative space. And fortunately for me, I had already partnered with them. We've run several activities together. And so I just leveraged on that and also just looked into some of the things that they're looking forward to doing in the future to just talk about that. So I think it's just about you doing your research. And if you do not know where you can get the source of the research, you can easily go to the British High Commission in your country, and you should be able to find some of the project that they're working on to be able to connect what you want to do or what you're doing to what the UK government is doing in your country.
Thank you. Madam Layo, any additions?
Yes, so there's this link, the devtracker.fcdo.gov.uk, where you can go onto that and you can search for the priorities in different countries across the world. So I guess when you're sharing the video, I can also provide you with that link so that you can also share it with them. It's another thing would be to follow UK in Nigeria or UK in Ghana or whichever country you are based in on social media, because you would see quite a lot of their activities, their engagements, just by following them on social media. You would begin to see, oh, these are the priorities in a particular country, so on X or on Instagram or on Twitter, or on LinkedIn or on Facebook. You know, it's really important that you check out UK Nigeria's handles as well as UK in Ghana. I'm so sorry, I have to keep remembering that Evans is here from Ghana as well, and maybe other people who have joined from other countries. Usually there's a lot of information, there, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to build our people to people links in different countries. And so it is obvious from our posts and our content, how we engage with, different organizations, NGOs, whatever it is we're doing across different thematic areas. But don't limit yourself to, okay, only UK, Nigeria priorities. There are also the global problems that we face. You could be solving one of those, and I mean, it could also align with some of the things we're doing. What I'm just trying to say is, do not think that it has to be based on UK and Nigeria priorities or UK and Ghana's priorities. But it's nice if you're able to tie it with some of these priorities, so.
Thank you very much, Ma. So, like that's been established, the UK government has spaces or offices in all their partner countries. So there's UK and Ethiopia. I know there are different countries on this call. So whatever country you're from, if Chevening, exists in your country, they have something that they are doing for your country. Okay, I'm trying to be very fast because we still have lots of questions and there are questions in the comments, but we're coming to that. The next question here is, please, how do I go about the work hour in the experience session? It is really giving me a tough time. I don't know how to go about it. Can one make use of work days with the exception of public holidays and multiply it by 8 hours? Or how does the calculation for the working hours work?
When I was applying, I think the system already had an automatic calculator and will tell you how many hours constitutes a day, and when you input all of that in there. So if, let's say, I worked in company A for 1 year, say from January to the following year, December, say January to December, I'll just say, okay, I work from Monday to Friday between 9 to 95, and the system will automatically calculate that. So you don't need to be worried about that. I don't know if the system has changed now, but when I was applying, the system makes the calculation by it. So all that you need to do is that, okay, it's requiring for minimum working hours, minimum 2 years of working experience. And so I would prefer to probably put my very recent, if I have done more than, because when I was applying, I've been working in the industry for like 5 years. So I would rather put my very recent work experience in there. And I think the system automatically calculates the working hours.
And I'm like, is it still the same? Does the system still calculate the hours for them?
Yes, it does. So I know you have up to at least 15 entries that you can include in this particular application form. And I think the person is actually trying to find out, apart from it calculating, I think what they're also trying to confirm is how we calculate a day's work. It's a working day and not a weekend, unless you are doing some voluntary work at the weekend and you're able to cite those examples. So you might be working during the week, 8 hours a day, and depending on where you live. So for us in Nigeria, on a Friday, we work shorter hours. 8 hours during Monday to Thursday, and then 5 hours on a Friday, But, if you are doing some voluntary work and you do that at a weekend and you do it 4 hours, then you would have to calculate how many hours you spent in the 40 weeks in a year, So that way, once you do all the entries, it will calculate it for you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so each time I try applying for the Chevening scholarship, it tells me a verification link has been sent to my email, but I don't receive it. What should I do? It's like a technical issue or something.
Well, to be honest, sorry, let me just say, because I generated an application when the portal opened, and I've had to go back and impute my email address again like 3 times, because I'm just it's a dummy application for me. So I think after a while, the link expires, especially if you're not engaging, you're not writing, you're not feeling anything. It can, it can, you get that email, because I got it as well. But all you do is you go back in as if you're applying again, ask you for your email address. So the email address you used before and your backup email, you impute it again, and then that verification link will be sent to you again. And it takes you back to exactly where you left it. So it's good that it doesn't start all over again. It just takes you to where you were. But if you're not active, it can happen that message comes up, So you also might need to check your spam, because it might be hiding somewhere there, But it's not a system glitch as far as I know. It's just something that happens when you're inactive for some time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Evan, please, can someone whose transcript isn't ready yet apply? If someone's transcript is not ready, can the person apply?
I think Madam Layo should be able to respond to that, but when I was applying, I had to apply with my transcript because that gives you your educational background, enough verification. So I think if Madam Layo can respond to that, what the situation is at this point.
Yeah, so I think with the changes in the form, you can see nobody's uploading anything. So it depends on when your transcript comes out. So looking at the timelines, you will see that on the website. Usually by the end of February, we already know who we're going to interview. So if you are going to be interviewed by the end of February, say March, then definitely you should ensure that you have those documents, because you're going to have to upload them, So having it now during the time you're uploading, you're applying, does not really matter, because you don't need to upload anything. But you should be following up with your university. If that is the only thing that is pending, you need to ensure that, otherwise you will not be able to upload it at the right time, and that means you will not be eligible, because you do not have the qualifications, you don't have the document to show, that you completed your education.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You might want to take water. I know you guys have been talking for a while, so please you can grab some water.
Cheers.
All right, so the next question. What if you were unable to have an offer from the 3 universities you wrote about in your essay, but got an offer from another university before the final deadline by July of submitting a university with an unconditional offer? Would they accept the new university? So I think this person is asking, say, for example, all the 3 universities they wrote about in the application, they gave them rejection, or they got rejected, or they didn't get unconditional offers from them. Maybe they've now passed through the interview stage or so, what role would that play, or can they present a new university? Madam Layo.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you can, but not by July, by the time you attend your interview. Not by July. So as I said, end of February, March usually would be the time you are attending interview. So let's say you applied to these 3 universities and all of them didn't get back to you with positive news. You can look for another one, but you must be ready to defend that university choice and the course that you studied or you are going to study. You have to be ready to explain the same way you wrote in your essay, how you're able to convince us. You must be ready to explain why this is now the new university that you are choosing. And then with proof that you have an unconditional offer, obviously, and then we can substitute it. But it's only at interview stage. You cannot do it after that.
Okay, so and typically universities in the UK, they respond to applications on time. Particularly for my university, it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you've gotten your response, whether they are giving it to you or not. So you can move on to start searching for other ones. And when you get to your interview, they will ask you, do you have unconditional offers, or do you have offers at all? They are going to ask you that question at your interview. So you don't want to go there and you're like, no, I don't have anyone. So as soon as, I would always advise you guys, focus now on writing your essays. Then when you're done submitting your essays, you can now start applying to this university, and please ensure that you give it your best. when applying, and getting admission is not so difficult if you write your statement of purpose very well. Okay. Is there any years limit to the duration of the degree results as to when applying for the master's? Like if you earned a degree in the year 2016 or earlier, are you still eligible to apply?
I think still again, Madam Layo will be able to respond to that properly. But when I was
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's your qualification is your qualification. Nobody's going to say, oh, you went to school 10 years ago and so we cannot use your qualification. No, and that's why we say there is no age limit. Anybody can apply. Whether I graduated 10 years ago, it doesn't mean anything. They're looking at looking at you holistically. They're looking at your qualifications from whichever year. They're looking at your work experience and how you've been able to develop yourself over the years. You understand? So it's very important, that you are able to give us like the bigger picture. That's whether you have your qualification from 20 years ago is not the issue.
Yeah, and to take it up from there, somebody was also asking if he already has a master's or 2 masters already, can he still apply for Chevening again?
He has to do a lot of convincing why he needs another master's. No, that's true. Because
yeah.
I've had some people with masters applying and they didn't take them because their applications were not even as strong as those who didn't have a master's. You understand?
Mm.
So you have to explain to them, especially if maybe you're changing trajectory, where you're going to do something else, and you now want to explain why you are changing and you need a master's to do it. You need to be able to prove to them that, well, you know what you're doing, you know where you're coming from, you know the gaps that you have and why you need to do another master's. There are a lot of people who have done more than one master's before, they applied to Chevening and they got it. But it's convincing us why we should spend that amount of money on you again for another master's.
Thank you. Okay, can someone who has a little difference on his name in his certificates and passport successfully apply? This is following an affidavit that has reconciled the difference. So maybe somebody has name issues. Maybe you got married and you're applying maybe as a woman and your name got changed, or there's just an issue with the name on your certificate and your international passports. Will it pose any issue for Chevening, Madam Layo?
So that will be with the visa application process. It has nothing to do with your application. Nobody is going to start, checking those kind of details at that stage. But when you're applying for your visa, you have to ensure that you have all of the information that explains why your name is different. So the affidavit and all of that will be submitted along with your other documents for your visa application.
Someone is asking, do I need hard copy of my certificates?
To bring to
Send soft copies, hard copy now. You scan it. Abi, Madam Layo.
So, as I was trying to tell you, the process has changed, right? And so we are discovering as we're going along. For now, we know that immediately after the portal has closed and they have selected the long list, sent it to the countries, and then we choose the short list, then they would open the portal for people to go and upload their documents, right? So at that point, I am guessing that everybody who is shortlisted for interview would have uploaded their documents. So there's no need for them to bring hard copies to prove to us at the interview that, they have those documents. It is unless, like that other question about the transcript that came up. If, let's say, at the point where you're supposed to have uploaded your documents and you didn't upload it, then you can come to the interview with the document if you receive it before interview, because we will be asking, we've checked the portal and we cannot see your transcript. You understand? So by the time you get to interview, we would want to see the document. And in that case, you probably bring the hard copy. You understand? But it's not in every case. It's only if you have a specific need or a specific problem that caused a delay.
Okay, so does attaching a strong reference letter give you an edge over others? Who wants to go? Maybe I'll go and get the president to write a reference for me and Chevening. Yes.
Yeah, I think Madam Layo can respond to that, but
Please now.
this is
It doesn't.
they need info from inside.
No, but truthfully, I mean, if you have a strong reference, it's good. It's a good thing. If the president of Nigeria signs your, but as long as you are telling us the truth, do you understand? But it will not stop. It will not stop us from giving you a scholarship if you are deserving of it. But it's also good. It helps, to back up what you have been saying. If somebody says something really good about you and it is somebody that we know is of high standing in society, is a good thing. So you can also sit down and think about the people that you know that have probably come a long way in society and can back up your application. It's a good thing, but it does not mean we're going to give you the scholarship if you have not made it. It just helps to make your application stronger, basically.
Yeah, so one thing you must always have at the back of your mind is that Chevening is merit-based. There's no insider that will say, I have a brother, let me took him in.
Exactly.
It's merit-based. It's not a Nigerian thing, it's a UK government thing. And it's you have to work for it. Nobody will dash you. You know how many £1,000? Are you playing? Nobody will dash you that kind of money. So you have to give it your best, really.
And even to add to that, I was just telling some of my colleagues here that it seems all Chevening scholars is like synonymous to distinction. Almost every Chevening scholar that I've known that, okay, their results, everybody's distinction, because you need to merit it. Everybody who gets the opportunity to get the scholarship means that they merit that. And whichever space you put them in, trust me, they will definitely glow.
Thank you. So, Madam Layo, after returning to your country for 2 years, can you relocate to another country? I think you already answered that a bit. For people that joined late, maybe you might want to say, maybe you sound it in their ears very well, so they will know now. I remember during our reception, one lady was asking, she said, can she stay in the UK? What if she doesn't want to come back? And Boma told her that you have to come back. She kept asking and asking, and she was like, you just have to come back. That's the agreement that you signed. So if you know, you cannot stick to the rules. It's just best you rest. It's not running away from your country, even if your country is bad. That's why they are equipping you so you can come back and help your country. Madam, I just want to say something so you can encourage them. If you know you want to run away, don't apply. Give other people a chance.
True. To be honest, I mean, it's so expensive, to be honest, for one scholar. When you calculate, especially with the exchange rate now, I don't know how it works for you in Ghana, but here, like 40 something thousand pounds, by the time you change down to Naira, man, we're talking 90 something million or something. So we're investing all of this money because we feel that you have proven to us that you have the ability to make change in your own country. So to be honest, it's a matter of integrity. I would say that over and over again, because I know that there are people who are silently have run back to the UK. All kinds of things are happening. You understand? Well, it's a matter of choice. It is you that said to us, you're going to do this. And I will tell you one thing for sure. One thing, the Chevening Secretariat, once they find out that this is what you have done, they don't work with you again. They don't want to have anything to do with you. And you might feel that, it's not a big deal. There's no problem. After all, you understand. It is later on that you will see the impact of that, because it means that the network that you claim to be, the prestigious network that you want to stick with, you would find that there will be people, because even the alumni association don't want to have anything to do with you, because they know the people that didn't come back, because they're updated every year. No matter what you do, when you stay back, other scholars will come back and say, this person didn't come back, this person didn't come back, this person didn't come back. And so already there's a red flag, So, but it depends on you. It's only 2 years. When you think about it, it's just 2 years. And then you can go anywhere you want to go to. You understand? But you're the one that wrote your career plan. What did you say you were going to do after 2 years? Did you say you were going to Japa Did you say that? I don't know. I don't know why people ask this question. Comes up every time. But
Yeah.
well, please don't apply to Chevening if you do not plan to come back. Please let other people who know that they're going to come home and do something in their home countries. Let them be the ones to get the opportunity. Don't just play around with other people's emotions. You've gone into it, you've taken it, and then you now forcefully stay back in the UK. It's not fair on the others. That's the truth.
Yeah. And also to add it to that, we're always complaining about where we are coming from, and that's the reason why we are running away from that. But if you're supposed to, who will now better where we are coming from? And so
If everyone packs up and goes.
exactly. So there's no point in, and you've already spoken about it that, oh, you've done this. You've already, because from your application, before you get it means that you've already laid some foundation or some impact to your community. So you want to just deject them and let them be in whatever corner that they are in. So I think it's essential. Even if after 2 years you're even supposed to go anywhere else, I still think it's quite essential for you to be able to follow through whatever that you started, to be able to just keep giving back to your people, because it's quite essential. This is a very unique opportunity for you to be able to help others as well. So it's not you, oh, okay, thank you, Lord, I'm gone, and then that's it. Even God will not bless you in capacity.
It's all about giving back, to be honest. And the truth about it is, I mean, you can go and study, you can do a PhD, all of those things. Some people go and they're doing a PhD and they're still, funding, they're still interested in whatever organizations that they have been working with, and then come back home. Nobody is saying you can't travel, you can't go on holiday, you can't do all of those things. But, the better part of your time should be spent at home, at least for the first few years.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so from my observation so far, I discovered that majority, let's say 90% of Chevening scholars, always have track record with high-ranking local or international organizations. Does it mean that I must have had one track record with UN or government of Nigeria before I can make the interview stage? Or will I just use my small impact in my local community to get to that stage? I just need clarification because I keep seeing several of the scholars having some touch with these big names. So I keep thinking my impact must be high sounding. This person might want to go and start lying what they did.
My goodness.
And this your observation is not true. You can't say 90%. Don't generalize. You just say
Where did they get that data from? Where did the data come from?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so what do we have to say to this?
Look, I think it's really not a matter of which institutions you are affiliated with. It's about what you've been able to do. The institution I personally was affiliated with was an institution that I set it up by myself. No, nothing. It's just by myself, trying to just grow it to that point where it has been able to create all the impact that it's been able to create. So it really doesn't matter. And even with that capacity, sometimes when I talk about it, people think, oh, you've done so much, and probably that's one of the reasons why I gave you that edge. But I really did not do that all alone. Anybody who happened to be part of the process can still leverage on that and say, okay, as part of everything, this is what I did to be able to contribute to the growth of the institution that was built and all of that. So it really doesn't have to be, you don't have to be affiliated with some big names. You don't have to be the son of the president to be able to have that edge. The only thing is that you should have been able to contribute to something that is verifiably impacting community, and be able to show what you contributed in that, and you should be able to probably get into a great position in the competition for sure.
Yes, and for me as well, I haven't really worked with big organizations. I did my stuff myself. I run an NGO as well, so I told my story. So it's just they want to see that passion, and when you are passionate about something, even in your writing, it will show.
Yeah.
People will be able to see that, oh, this person is really passionate about this work. Even if it's 10 children that you are impacted or that you are impacting,
Yeah.
or you have just 10 poultry or 10 animals in your poultry or something, it doesn't have to be very big. It's just about you telling your story passionately. And anybody that picks up your essay and reads it could tell that, oh, this person is telling the truth. It's not about the numbers, focus on the impact that is being made. Whether you made that impact as a group, what exactly did you do in that group? That's why in your leadership we always say you use I, don't use we or use us. So let it be about you. Right, so next question. Are the Chevening slots quoted? Like, do they give a number of scholarships to different areas of interest, or they are just certain areas Chevening is really interested in? For instance, does 8 slots does Chevening say this year we would give 2 slots to development studies, 4 slots to gender equality, 8 slots to public health, 5 slots to food security, or is it just
No, there's no need. No, we don't do that.
based on based on performance? What if all the highly performing essays are people from development studies? Would Chevening just shortlist those people like that, or will they also try to balance it up by selecting people from other fields of interest? Madam Lai, I believe you got the question, ma'am.
Yeah, so I first of all, what I want to explain here is that for the different themes, you know, that across from all of the applications. So for example, on the days that we have people coming for interviews under health, what we try and do is we try and get people that are from the health block to sit on the panels. Same thing with creatives. Same thing with sustainable energy. Whatever it is that is that particular thematic area. What we try and do is we would have reached out to people in advance and we would say, okay, on Monday we are doing agriculture. On Tuesday we're doing business and management or whatever it is. So what we try to do is we try to combine different people from those specific areas to sit on your panel. So it is people that know about health that will be judging you. You understand? It's not that everybody will go to development and that is where it would be. And then you will have lower scores for people in agric or in climate or whatever. We try to spread it out and we try to bring an expert from each of the fields to sit on panels, right? I don't know if you, okay, well, you are an ambassador right now. You are, Evans, so I don't know what the panel was like for you when you were, attended your interview, because that's what we try to do. So
Yeah.
we do not say, oh, we have two slots for development, we have 2 slots for education. No, we don't do that. It is based on your performance at the interview and how you are scored. We have a scoring guide that everybody uses, So if you get a 4, it's because you are outstanding. Nobody will give you a 4 if you do not think you are strong enough. They will give you a 3 instead, which means you are very good. And then 2 is good, you understand, and 1 is satisfactory. So everybody has the same scoring guide. And so all the panelists already have the same scoring guide, and based on the scoring guide, they give you your scores. So you cannot say that, okay, development, all the people in development are the ones that got their scores. No, you will have from different range. It depends on how many people actually made it to the long list and to the short list, that determines the number of people in the end. And finally, your interview and your performance at interview. You might write a very strong essay. Some people are better at writing than they are at speaking. And so sometimes that's why it's very important that once you get to interview stage, you also begin to prepare for interviews, because your confidence has to come out. You have to be able to talk about your essays as if it's part of you, and you have to be ready for follow-up questions. So sometimes it's not about the essays you wrote, because somebody might have even helped you to write the essays. And one thing I also wanted to say is not good for us to share essays with prospective candidates. Don't share your essays. Let them get to like the final stage before they see a sample of an essay, because it will just destroy their idea. It will destroy their passion. Nothing, because they will want to be writing based on that essay that they saw. So write your essay first, forward it on to the mentor or whoever it is that's looking at your essays, and then let them tell you, okay, I think you need to work better at this one or this one or this one. Anyway, I am digressing, please.
Bottom line, don't be lazy, because once, even with mentoring the people that were mentoring, you discover that many of them want to be lazy. They will ask you the smallest of questions that you can get online. They'll come and be, oh my goodness. So don't be lazy. This is something you have to work for it. Nobody will give you gold.
Hard work.
You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
Don't come and ask me, oh, is Chevening for 1 year? No, it's for 20 years. Go online, go on Google and research. Put in. Don't come and be stressing us. And you say, one even say, can you give me? No, we won't give you our essays.
No.
When we do that, it will close up your thinking pattern. You'll be able to think correctly, because you're trying to fit in what this person has written. You see. So, but if all the tips that we've been sharing from week 1, trust me, these are things that we applied and it worked for us, meaning that it can also work for you as well. So, my truth. Do I have to explain each of my job entered in the work history section in my essays or at the interview? They are different from my field of study. This question is not quite clear, but I think maybe the person is asking the parts where you put in your work hours. I think during my time too, you have to briefly explain what you did on each of the role.
This is not, it's not. I was on this form today, and I was completing it as if it was, I was applying for Chevening, for the Chevening Award. It does not ask you those questions. It just asks you to write the name of the person, the name of the
organization,
experience, whatever work you did. Yes, and I think you now put the year to the year, like that. Well, I don't know. Maybe at the end. I don't know if it asked that at the end, because it was a dummy application I created. Please, someone should correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. But somebody can leave a comment, what if it's so? So let me move to the next question. This is a question that we've been getting every week. Madam Layo, do you want to deal with this question, and Evan will keep something in? Is it advisable to use ChatGPT to reconstruct my essay after personally drafting it from scratch? That is, the idea and the story essentially is mine, but using ChatGPT to reorganize properly.
So we received some feedback from the Secretariat based on the last year's applications, and they have software now that can tell, when you've used AI, when you've used, any of these new tools, so they're able to tell. I don't know how they pick it, but they know. So best thing is to just stay away from them if you can.
So
and be as original as possible. So that they do not throw your application out and you'll be wondering, what did I do? My essay was strong. Why did they choose me?
So I think some of the things that the applicants do not know, that there are several software now. In as much as there are softwares writing your essays, there are softwares also detecting who is writing your essay. And trust me, with the use of the ChatGPT, first of all, it's robot. It doesn't know you the way. And I kind of understand what the person is trying to express, but I will tell you that, look, the word count is 500, right? It's not even enough for you to be able to express all the things. So if you know exactly what you want to talk about and following the STAR approach, it should be so easy. You even finish, you feel like, oh, there could have been. Then you would be able to just outline what you call it, just outline the things that you actually essential to the essays to be able to just make it the best way that you think it will be able to read for anybody to understand. For ChatGPT, I don't know what it's going to do for you, honestly. And at the end of the day, there's Turnitin, there's several softwares that the moment they input your essays in there, it will be able to detect where all the sources are coming from. And I don't think you need it, honestly. I don't think you need it. It will not really restructure to whichever point more than what the Chevening has already described for you to follow.
Right, thank you. So if you have a question, please raise your hand so I can see you. We'll be done in another 30 minutes max. If you have any question, just lift your hand. I'll see you whilst I go to the questions in the comments. So someone is asking, can I submit the same essays I already submitted last year? Madam Layo?
I am thinking that in a whole year, you would probably have been able to gain one other experience. So submitting the same essays is not always advisable. That doesn't mean you cannot, but at least you can fine tune them, because I guess that you've gained one more year of experience somewhere. So I would recommend that you do not use the same essays. I think you can build on them just to make them stronger if you do not have any other examples. But hopefully after 1 year, if you didn't make it the first year, then it means that you have learned a bit more and you're able, to express yourself a little bit better. I mean, even when you go on the website, you see that there's this particular guy who applied 4 times. I don't know if you've seen that on the portal, Janet.
There's one I know that actually got it on the 7th year, and even on the 7th year, and even some of my mates or some of my cohorts last year, there was one lady who actually got it on the 5th time. And so there is always and even I was also using myself as an example. When I was introduced to Chevening was 2017, but I didn't apply. But when I went through the portal, if I actually applied, I wouldn't have gotten it, because I really didn't have the experience. I wasn't the Chevening material yet. And so I took that almost like to be able to do without even knowing that that was what we were creating. And then it's time for me to apply, I was able to get it in the first attempt. So I think, look, if you don't get it this year, make sure you just build it, come back again, make it better, make sure that you've been able to create some kind of impact in the spaces that you're exploring, and that will definitely give you verifiable data for you to be able to work with.
Yes, and personally, I got it on my 3rd try. So it doesn't matter. Just keep giving it your best. And for those of you who are probably just maybe finishing uni and you just want to jump into applying, we usually advise that you be patient and build your skills, build your writing skills, use your experiences, so that you don't say, oh, she even rejected me. When they don't give you something, you say they rejected you. Meanwhile, you are the one who didn't give it your best.
They don't want to be
that when you're writing, you're giving it your best shot, okay? So another question, if my networking essay is still the same example I used in my leadership essay, but showing how I applied my networking skills to attain the task in my leadership skills, is that okay, or is it being repetitive?
I think first question I will ask is, did this particular essay actually get you through to the interview stage?
I think this is a different person asking this question.
Okay. I would say if it got you through to the interview stage, I think it gives you a better foundation, because at least they have reviewed the essays, they know that it was good enough, and probably it was the interview that you couldn't give up your best. And so, as Madam Layo mentioned, within that span of 1 year, you might have done some extra work that you would just have to update it and just tell them that, oh, within this time, I did this, I did that. But if first of all did not get you to the interview stage, it means that there's still extra work that you need to get into to do. And I think using the STAR approach again to just go back will be able to tell you where you made the mistakes and what you can do to correct them.
All right, but this question is saying that, for example, I've seen some essays that, for example, the person said this thing in leadership, and the person to networking to explain more of that same example that he or she stated in the leadership. Is this something that is advisable, or is it being repetitive? We are saying the same thing both in leadership and networking. So should it be different examples, or how can we help this person?
So that's the fusion. That's the fusion you were talking about earlier on, Evans. You were talking about there being fusion between the essays. So it can be the same example, but in one of them, you are highlighting your leadership and influencing skills, while in the other one, you're bringing out the networking abilities that you have. So, and then you don't have to just write one example in your essays. That's why you have 500 words. If you're able to fit in up to 2 or 3, it's a good number. You understand? Make use of the 500 words that you have.
Yeah. So just giving example for the person to be clarified, right? In my application, in the leadership essay, I mentioned that I've established a film festival. In addition to the film screening and the master classes that we do, we also establish a film incubator program, which has been able to train this number of filmmakers at this point in time, at that point in time. And then in the leadership essay, right, I go to the relationship building essay, and I said, okay, I created a film incubator program called AIF Film Art, and then I met this person that was a facilitator on this program. At this point in time, I met this person who were able to help us probably secure some kind of support from this organization that uplift or amplify the impact that we're creating. So it's almost the same thing, but they are serving different purposes. Do you get it? It's almost the same thing, but there are 7 different purposes. And when you're reading both essays, you can see that in the leadership, I was just trying to express what the impact that particular program has done. In the relationship building, I was just trying to tell you the people that I got opportunity to connect with that actually helped propel the program to its maximum impact. So if you kind of get it, that's what some of these things are, what we're just doing.
Yeah, it's very clear. Thank you. So a question here says, I intend to go for an MA in gender studies. I have valuable reasons through my experience why I intend to study gender studies with a BA in English and literature. My fear stems from not having effective experience that has impacted in the gender field. For instance, I haven't been part of any organization or affected communities positively. But sincerely, with my personal experience of gender bias, I really want gender studies. So this person is saying that they are undergrads, they did English and literature, but now they want to do gender studies, but he or she doesn't have any field experience in gender. But because of their personal experience, even if it's not their undergraduate degree, that's why they're applying for that. So what advice should we give to this person? No experience, but personal, no work experience, but personal experiences. So what advice should we give to the person?
Madam Lai, would you like to go first? It's a difficult situation for me.
So, sorry, when she started reading out the question, I had a cough and I had to drink some water. So I didn't get everything that you said, but I think what you are trying to ask is someone does not have direct work experience, but they have personal experiences to share. Because it's obviously it's a change in trajectory here, right? This is what we're trying to say. So, I mean, that is why we ask for your experience in voluntary work, because it could be the thing that you are passionate about, that you're spending a lot of time in, that you're building your experience in. So it does not have to be that you went and you worked for a particular organization. It could be even during the time when you were working voluntarily for someone, you were able to gain this other experience, your personal experience. You can still share that. And that's why you are allowed to include that in your work history. It adds up to the number of hours. And I just wanted to tell you that I've just gone back onto the application form, and it does not ask you to give a summary of anything. It just asks you to put in the name of the position you held, the employer, the sector, and then whether it was full-time or part-time or voluntary. You see, those are the different experiences we're talking about here. Full-time, part-time, voluntary, paid internship, unpaid internship, freelance, self-employed. These are all of the examples that are available. And then it asks you for your start date, and then if it is your current position or not. And then it gives you an opportunity to keep adding. And so I don't think you need to worry about writing a summary of what each of the job experiences were for you, because I mean, in your essay, you can do that depending on which work experience you want to highlight, and then at interview as well, to back up, all that you've done.
All right, thank you, ma. There's another question. Someone is saying he's applying to his schools already, and one of the universities applying to is asking for a £40 application fee, and the person cannot afford it. What should the person do? Because they've refused to waive the application fee.
So they have to write to the school and say, please, I'm a prospective candidate for Chevening, because we advise people not to make that payment. If that is the only thing that will make your application conditional, we will see it as unconditional, because if Chevening takes over the responsibility of paying for your tuition and everything, that £40, Chevening will pay for it. So if that is the only reason why you've not received your letter, because or your offer, because of that £40, don't pay it. Because if you get the scholarship, then Chevening will pay for it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Okay, so let me allow those whose hands are up ask their question. Somebody's asking, as someone who was denied F1 student visa in June 2024, will that have any negative impact on my Chevening application? I was denied because I was unable to prove my financial support very well. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't affect.
Which one is F1? Is that a UK application or a US one?
The person didn't state that, but I don't think it should. I don't know.
It will not, because you are being funded by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. Everything is being paid for. So whatever you refuse, as long as you didn't go and murder somebody or kill somebody, if in the past you've done something bad, then obviously it might be like a comma for us, and we might need to check that. If you traveled to the UK previously and you had done something, then those are the kind of things they might want to look at and investigate. But if you were just refused because of funds, or nobody is going to use that against you when you're applying for Chevening, because you know how in Nigeria, NYSC are Nigerian government's children. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I don't know if you have a scheme like that in Ghana, but in Nigeria we have NYSC. So when you go for your NYSC, you'll be getting your Alawi every month. So the same thing with Chevening. Once Chevening takes over responsibility for you, they are going to look after you from the beginning to the end. Your visa, he was saying it earlier on, because I even forgot to mention about the visa process. You get your visas paid for. In fact, most times it is facilitated. So if, let's say, it takes for 15 days for other people to have their passports back, once it's a Chevening application, they try and do it within 2 or 3 days. Very, very, yes. 2 days. Exactly. So because they know that this is our Pekin, this is our child. We're looking after this child, and so we want to make sure they get to school on time. So unless you do not get your CAS early, everything, there are delays. So we always try and say, even for our Chevening scholars, please apply early. But we've had instances where people would apply a bit late, but they'll reach out to us. We will reach out to the UK visas team and say, please, this is one of our people. Is there a way you can help out? So what was the question initially? I can't even remember.
You answered it already, but 2 more questions, then we'll give opportunity for those who's answer. Or because of the limited words, can I skip any kind of introduction? Any kind of introduction?
At this point, it depends on what the introduction means to you. In essay writing, probably someone will introduce it by explaining, leadership is so and so and so. Even on the website, you are not required to do anything like that. But then again, I can say, okay, leadership to me means service, and in demonstrating that, I have done this, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. It just depends on how you want to introduce it. Someone would just go ahead and say, okay, just go straight into that. But then again, it still comes back to storytelling, right? You're supposed to have that. There's that inciting incidents that introduces what you're supposed to. It moves into that. So it still comes back to storytelling. How are you telling the story? Do you think in your essay, if you just jump into talking about the things you've done, how would that sound if someone is reading it? So it just comes back to you. I think you should have that fluidity in the storytelling act. Just make sure that you welcome the people into your world, and then show them what you have in your world, and just tell them what more you want to do in your world if you're given the opportunity. I think taking up that kind of format should be easy for you to be able to do that. And then again, like I said, it depends on what you mean by introduction. But yes, in your essay, you should have introduction, you should have the body, you should have conclusion. But if you mean introduction as in people quoting other, that's, you have a limited word count. And so you kind of make the decision on what is relevant for you to add in your introduction. Let me use the quote, introduction.
Thank you very much, Evan. So for your introduction, it's just particularly for leadership and networking, it's just maybe 2 or 3 lines, 1 sentence or 2. Tell them what leadership means to you as a person. Then you can now go on to your example. So your essay is properly structured. So you don't just jump and say, oh, leadership according to Oxford Dictionary. We have Oxford Dictionary. We can check that. Why? It's still saying what leadership means to you. That's to open up your writing. Then you go on to say, oh, my first example, second example, maybe third example, and then your conclusion. So that's that on that. The final one here before I allow somebody whose hands is up. Please, do I have to specify the name of the community where I work in my application? Like say, while working in a community in Lagos State, Nigeria, I'll allow Madam Layo answer this, but then I'll chip in something. I've read some essays and people will just write, and I cannot tell. These people are probably white people who don't know you before. So you want them to just be in your head and understand, oh, this thing happened here and there. So it has to be clear. Oh, on you don't have to put the full date, but you can say, oh, in December 2022, this was what happened. I worked with so and so people. So you might want to put in names, places, people. You have to specify that. Let me allow Madam Laya talk on this before we move on.
No, but that's true. You said exactly what I was going to say. So we're talking about being specific, and that's why we say be smart even when you're writing your essays. Being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound, all of those things. And that is because you are trying to tell us how you have done something differently from somebody else. And so you telling us the name of the community is essential, because we can read it up and we can find out about what you've done in that. And even in your work experience, I'm certain that you would have included that. So it's good to be specific when you're talking about the location where you carried out some work, where you did something. Even if you say Kaduna State or in Zaria or something, at least you have given us a direction. We even understand the demography of that area, and we know what is applicable there and what is possible there and what is not possible there, But it doesn't really speak well when you are just vague in your description. So please be specific.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll just ask you to unmute. Olabi is. So I'm asking you to unmute now so you can ask your question.
Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much. So
Yeah.
my questions, that I have about 2 to 3 questions that I would like to ask.
Go ahead, please. Hello, can you
Might be
hear me?
having network issues, right?
Clarification. I have. Thank you very much. In my. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, but you were breaking up. Go ahead.
Okay. So in my application, I was asked if I've been denied visa to any country before, whether US, UK. So this year, June 21st, 2024, I was denied US student visa to do my master's at Boston University. So I don't know if that will have any negative impact in my application, if they will, if it is part of evaluation process for the scholarship. And also, I want to know, I'm having, I think it's a technical issue from the website. All of a sudden, I couldn't log into my application again. Then I used another email to start another application. I experienced the same problem. And as I'm talking right now, I've already started another application with a new email. So I don't know if that also have any impact at all on my application.
Okay, that's it.
Okay,
Oh,
the last one is that I already have offers from 3 schools, but it is condition. It is under the condition that I provide my English language certificate for my whole level. So is it going to be that I must provide it before the interview if I'm given the opportunity to be at the interview, or strictly July 2025?
Okay, can I answer?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start from the third question about the English language. So this English language condition to be met is for the university. And so that will be July, mid-July. It's not something that we're going to be asking you for during the interview. The condition becomes unconditional before mid-July 2025. On the visa question, was it a visit visa you applied for the US, or was it a student visa?
It's an F1. It's a student visa. F1 is a student visa.
Okay. Well, to be honest, whatever the case is, it has nothing to do with us. Our process is different. Whatever reasons you were refused
Okay. Thank you.
for in the US is different from the way our application process is. Our application process for UK visas are point based. So it's based on, they give you points
Okay.
for different aspects of your application, whether you've met your accommodation requirements, whether you've met your financial, you know that for UK visas, student visas, you have to have money in an account for a particular number of days. But that does not apply to you if you are on a Chevening scholarship, because the funding has been covered, you understand? So if you get Chevening, nobody is going to be asking you, did the money stay in your account for 28 days? Was it touched? Did it go below? Do you understand? So our
Okay.
process is totally different for UK visas. And so
Okay.
I don't see why anybody will want to start checking. So even if you were refused, you say, yes, you were refused, but it is not going to affect this application. It's just for us to
Okay.
be aware if you have been applying to different places before and all of that. It's just
Okay.
background information, should I say. But
Okay.
as I
Thank you.
said before, when I was explaining about people's travel history, if you've done something in the past that would be really, really bad, then obviously, even if you're applying to Chevening, they would want us to investigate and maybe that can affect. But I've never seen it happen. I've not seen it happen in the 5 years I've been on this job. And then what was the other
Okay.
question? You had three questions. One about visas. The other one was about, what was the third question? I've missed one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a technical issue from the website, from the Chevening website. So I think you talked about it sometimes some few minutes ago. but I didn't
Yes.
seem to understand it.
Okay,
I've
so
started
I
the
had a similar problem. I had a similar problem, and I heard somebody else. I spoke to somebody this morning who has had the same problem, and she's now going to try and generate a new application with a new email address. So maybe it is something that we need to take back to the secretariat, because, as I said, this is new, and so there might be some technical glitches, and they need to review the system. So it's good that you've brought this up. I really hope that you're able to submit. And then, you haven't submitted any of the applications, right?
I haven't submitted any application.
And so it can't count against you. It is if you've submitted an application and then you now want to generate a new one, that is when it will count against you. But if you've not gotten to this stage, because that submit application is right at the bottom and it says cannot start yet, because you would have progressed and completed all the other stages before you can go to the submit application. So maybe the best thing for you to be doing is, as you are completing your form, if you can be copying and pasting somewhere, because I don't know why that is happening to you.
That's
I know
exactly what I'm doing.
exactly. The copying and pasting somewhere in case you have to generate a new application, so that you can just copy and paste. But you have to be careful that you're pasting into the right cells, because if you copy and paste into the wrong one, then you know that your answers will be wrong for something, and so you have to be very careful. But it's something that we're going to
Thank you
take
very
up.
much.
I'm going to mention that this problem has been happening, and they might need to check this new platform.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next person I'm asking you to unmute. Geta Chow. I don't know if I pronounced your name well, sorry.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much to the organizers for this session. I really found it very much helpful for me. I'm from Ethiopia. My name is Getachew. My question here is, indeed, I was awarded the 2024 and 5 Chevening, but I missed the deadline to submit the unconditional offer because of some external problems. So now I am preparing to reapply because it was past 3 days to the deadline, and they withdrew me from my application from the process. So regarding that, does it have any negative impact while applying for this year? Of course, I have modified my essays, keeping the main theme the same, just my course selection, but I have changed my university selections totally. That is the first question. The other is, should I state maybe in my leadership state that last year I reached to the interview stage and also I succeeded that? Should I mention that? Thank you very much.
I'm sorry about what happened last year. So let me just allow Madam Layo speak.
Hi, I'm really sorry to hear about what happened last year. Unfortunately, with Chevening, they have hard deadlines. There's nothing you tell them. And that's why we always try to encourage people to submit where, do not wait till it's too late. Don't wait till the last day. I understand that you were in a situation. You mentioning that this happened last year and you had applied before. Well, I don't know how you're going to entwine it into your essay writing, but if it is not relevant, then you might not need to say so. If your story is still captivating the way it captivated the assessment committee when they were looking at it last year, and you have been able, because your passion you know, for whatever it is you are doing, especially with, you know, the war and all of those things, it will come through in your applications, and they would want to give you another chance. They will probably be able to spot from the way you are writing your essay that you have been here before and something like this had happened before. So it should not be something that you need to go and write inside your essay. You know, let your story speak for itself. Maybe when you are called for interview, if you get to that stage, in conversation, you can drop that in there, and you know, it would be like, oh wow, you know. But to write it in the essay, I don't think there's a need for it. That was 2 questions, right? One is about the hard deadlines. It's not going to affect your new application because unfortunately, that reason was not because you did not get the award. It was just because you were not able, you know, to submit your unconditional offer within the deadline. And as I said, Chevening they don't bend their rules. They do not bend their rules at all. Was there another question?
No, I think you probably answered it already. Maruf.
Yeah, it is already answered. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're
Maruf,
welcome. All the best with this application.
Maruf, you can go ahead.
Yes, sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this meeting. I really appreciate your concern about our application. I am from Kurdistan of Iraq, and I have 2-3 questions. Can my CEO of the company I work for be my referee?
Okay, what's the second question?
The second question is, according to the reference letter, for example, we have the British Embassy in the capital city, and we have the consulate in the city where I live. So should I direct my reference letter or my referee should direct the reference letter to the embassy or the consulate? The third question, I have got the 6 in IELTS Academy. So for the interview, so should my English language be perfect, or they consider my first language isn't English? For the educational document, I have 2 bachelor degree, first in chemistry science, another in architectural engineering. So I want to apply for the architectural engineering in climate change. Shall I input all of my educational document or just that one which I want to apply for master degree? That's all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Evan, do you want to attempt the first question? Can a CEO be his referee?
I think it should. I think it should be. I don't think it should be a problem since the relevance is not necessarily who is doing that. Personally, it was 2 of my lectures, and but one of my lecturer was also doubled as my mentor. So, should I say she was the CEO? She was not the CEO, but she was the board of director of the organization I was also working with. So I really had that relationship with, and we've been working throughout. So I think for someone as the CEO of the organizations that he's working at, I think that shouldn't be a problem. As far as it's not like a family relative, I don't think that should be a problem.
Yeah, thank you. So, Madam Layo, the other 2 questions. Should he direct his reference to the consulate or the embassy?
The embassy. The embassy.
The embassy. Okay. So like you said, English is not his first language. So should his English be perfect in during writing of his application?
It should be, because you are going to be competing against other people who English is not their first language. And so you would have to ensure that there are no grammatical errors. So you would not just write as you speak. You would make sure that you vet those essays and make sure that there are no errors there. If by the time you get to interview stage and you are speaking, with the way you were speaking, that's fine. People understand that, okay, there's a bit of the accent, there's a bit of, but as far as the essay is concerned, grammatical errors, things like that, we look out for those. So you can double check when you've written it, make sure that you put it through Grammarly or whatever it is to ensure that everything has been written properly, the full stops in the right place, make sure you have your paragraphs well written. That's the art and that's the structure of writing an essay. So, and then with the credentials, I did tell you that this is a new system. I am assuming that if it's just the same way we used to do it before, then you can upload as many documents as you want. Whatever you think is relevant to this application, you can do that. The fact that you have done 2 undergraduate courses is a plus for you. And then the fact that you now have, what was the other thing you were saying? Whatever it is that describes to us what your qualifications are, you can upload them. I'm just saying that I don't know how many documents this new application system will allow you to upload, because we're still getting used to it. But that would mean do the most relevant ones first, and then you can add on the other ones later.
Yes,
That would be my order of priority. I think so.
And just to add, I feel like you're already a Chevening material, because for Chevening to have selected you, it means that they probably liked you. They liked your essay. They liked you at the interview. That's why you were selected, right? So you don't really need to do too much to want to impress them this time. Do the best you can do. You might want to change a thing or two in your essays. Your essays weren't the problem. Your interview was not the problem. It was just a little issue with you submitting your unconditional offer. So you should prioritize applying to your schools early enough so you have your unconditional offers on time and to ensure that it is uploaded. And I hope we answered your question. Okay, so we have to be very fast. I'll take 3 questions at the same time, and then we'll be able to give answers to them at once. So I'll be noting down your questions. Okay, so Aderi Bigbe Esther, please, your question.
Okay, good evening, ma.
Okay, good evening. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask about my leadership essay. I didn't write introduction. I just go straight to the point, and then at the end of my essay, I tell them what leadership means to me. So is that one okay? And I want to ask if I can copy and paste my letter, my essays from the files I've already written it, then copy it and paste it to the Chevening website. That's my second question. And then I want to ask if it is necessary for us to tell them where we are going to see the resources for someone that wants to establish on its own, maybe 5 to 15 years. That's a long term. Like, can we tell them how we are going to see money to establish ourselves? Is that one necessary or it is not necessary? Those are my questions.
All right, thank you. I've noted your question down. We'll answer you. So let me take another person. Seko Dien, your question.
Hello?
We can hear you. Please ask your question.
Okay, no problem. My name is Mr. Sekou Jane, and I'm from Mali. So this is my first time to hear about Chevening program because one of my friends sent it to me, and I wanted to see what's gonna happen. So I just wanna know if it is necessary, okay, to pass the TOEFL exam before applying on that program, or IELTS program, or TOEIC program. So, and I also got my license from network engineering. So, and after that, I traveled to Ghana to learn English over there. So when once I'm back here in Mali, so I open the English center like for 2 years now. So I want to know, is it possible to apply for master degree because I got license in network engineering? Is it possible to apply for that without IELTS certificate or without TOEFL certificates? Because I already have proficiency certificate from Ghana. So is that okay for me to apply for that or not? That's my question.
So let me get your question correctly. Are you asking if you need an English testing, like maybe IELTS or TOEFL to apply for Chevening? Is that your question?
Yes, that's the first question. And I also want to know, okay, so when the program started, because I don't even know the deadline of the program. So that's my first time to hear about Chevening program.
Okay, so I'll just answer your question straight up. Go online, use Google, type Chevening. It will bring out everything you need to know about Chevening. But basically, the master's degree is starting in September of the following year. Do you get? So if you apply here, you will resume school next year, September. And for whether you need English testing or not, you don't need it for Chevening in any way. But maybe your university might require it. But there are many universities in the UK that don't require you to have your English testing. Okay.
Okay.
So do that research. You still have about 10 days till the deadline. It closes November 5th. So you still have like 10 days to do all your research and put yourself up for it. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
I think the clarity I wanted to find out is he was speaking about license. Is it license or undergraduate certificate? Because you need that. You need to have graduated from undergraduate before you will be able to do your master's. So is the license a professional license or is it undergraduate certificate?
Okay, he's a licensed professional. Yeah, he's a licensed professional.
So do you have an undergraduate degree?
No.
Madam Layo.
Okay, so for me, honestly, I just know about Nigeria, HND, and if you can use HND. I don't know about Ghana. I don't know about that license you're talking about. So maybe it's something that you would need to send us an email, and we can reach out to our Chevening officer in Ghana.
Mali, from Mali.
Oh, is he from Mali? Okay, so that we can find out.
Yes, from Mali.
Yeah, so we can find that out for you because I cannot speak for your country. I can only speak for mine, you know.
All right, I guess we answered your question already. So, Eniola, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I have just one question. Is it okay if, because I saw it in one YouTube video I was watching, is it okay if the email address of my referee, like if it's like their personal email, does it have to be like a company's email, like so@company.com, or it can be their personal email? Does it reduce like the chances of getting a scholarship? That's all. Thank you.
Madam Layo, do you want to answer that quickly? But I don't think it does.
It doesn't really matter. It depends on how that person wants to be contacted. You understand? So whatever email address they give to you, you put it in there. That's the best way that they know that they will be checking their emails. It's important that they have an accessible email address that we can reach. We do want to reach out to them. We might try the phone number and the number doesn't go through and we decide to send an email. So it's the one that is frequently used that they're certain that that they check. What do you think, Evan? I think your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think you're giving the exact answer that I was just thinking about. It should be an email that they frequently check to be able to respond when the request is made to them. And so I think any should be fine.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Paul Cletus. Paul Cletus, can you unmute and ask your question?
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I think, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Hello?
you. We can hear
Okay,
you.
my
Go
name is,
to the question.
okay, please, ma, thank you for the good work, but I would just love to ask the question direct. And the question is on the reference letter, ma. Since 2022, I've networked and met someone who is a former DG in National Institute here in Nigeria. I don't want to mention the name, and I don't want to mention the institute name. But it's one of my networking example, and he's willing to, give me a reference letter. But I want
We've stopped hearing you.
hello?
Yes,
Can
we
you hear
stopped
me?
hearing you for a bit. Hello, can you hear me? You're breaking up.
But I can.
Yes, it's probably your network. Do you want to try again, or you want to type your question in the comments?
Thank you.
Yes, type your question in the comment. I'll see it and I'll be able to ask. This name is written in Arabic. I don't know what the name is, but I'm asking you to unmute now. So please unmute and ask your question.
Hello. Thank you for your cooperation. I want to ask, now I apply as a UK plan about disability and something like that, and my country now on war, and it's not priority in my country, but I can use as a capacity building, something like that. And after 5 years, I will work in disability when it is appear to be achievable. Does that make sense to Chevening? So I can accommodate the situation now, and after 5 years, I will start my real plan. It's about capacity building in the first 5 years, and I will complete it when it is become achievable for my country. Because now we have a lot of epidemic, and disability is not priority in my country.
Trying to understand your question. It's not very clear. I don't know if I know, Madam Lai, did you get the question? Because I did not.
I think
Yes.
she's trying to say that the focus for our country at the moment is not with persons with disabilities. And so when she writes her essay, she would be looking at her long-term goals and not her immediate goals. So she wants to know if that is something that Chevening will accept,
Yeah.
I think that is what I think the question is, right?
Yeah. I mean that. My short-term plan is something like capacity building and working outside the disability and centers, which is I plan for. So my real plan not started in the short term.
Okay, well, to me, I think you are still good to go, because whatever the situation is right now in your country, it does not mean that other priorities, are not there. It just means that there's a major focus for you in your country now. So if your career plan is realistic enough to capture that, then I think that's a good enough reason for you to submit that essay, because already it is obvious that there's conflict now, and that is what your country is focusing on. But that does not mean that conflict does not affect persons with disabilities, because it actually, I would say, it is linked. So how you intertwine all of that information, even in your essay, will be really helpful in making it a rich essay, because conflict affects different parts of our demography, right? And so you cannot say that it is not a priority. It is still going to have a ripple effect on persons with disabilities. In fact, it has more of an effect on persons with disabilities, you know, than people who don't have disabilities. So, Evan, do you have anything to add to that? Because that's what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, I think you've said it exactly how it's supposed to be. I don't think that is the issue. I mean, it's not everybody's priority to be working in that capacity, but if that is what the situation is in where you're working, that even kind of extend the impact of what you can do and the reason why you need to be able to do all of this to support more people. So it gives you a great foundation to even be able to build your impact that you're planning on doing when you return back home, or like what you've already been able to do and what you want to do to be able to sort out. Because it's still 2024, but the world is still undergoing war at different points in time. And so it's really critical issue that we are all supposed to be part in contributing to. So I think it gives you a great foundation for you to be able to build your career plan and your long-term and short-term goals in that capacity as well.
Yes, thank you very much. I just saw a question. Is shielding scholarship applicable to only indigenous of Africa? No. When we started earlier, Madam Layo already clearly stated that shielding is in over 140 to 160 countries of the world. So it's not just Africa. And people asking if the session is recorded. Yes, it is. And it will be shared on our Telegram group. So if you are not on the Telegram group, please somebody help me post the Telegram group link here. We have over 5,000 people on that group, and each week we share the recording. So you can even look through to see what we've done over the weeks. So please, someone should help me post the Telegram link here. We have to be very fast because of our time. Our guest needs to rest. Let me take Mohammed now. Mohammed, please unmute and ask your question.
Hello, thank you, Janet, for the opportunity. Thank you, Layo and Evan, for the 2 hours of explanation and clarification. So my question quickly is that specifically to Janet and Evan, being the scholars, how are you able to deal with the stress of writing your essays? Because honestly, I feel like I have the ideas, but then getting to sit down and really digest the ideas and put them down pen to paper is what is challenging to me. So I don't know if you've got any tips that you can share with us. Thank you very
much. Thank you. I was laughing not because I think it's no problem, but I'm just saying that is actually like a basic effort that you have to put in, that you have to do that. And it's not even just about writing the essays. It's more about when you are given the opportunity and it comes to the UK, there is so many assessments that you have to do, so many of them. And if you do not have more like the tenacity to write the essays, then when you come to the university, or when you're given the scholarship, when you get to the university in the UK, how will you be able to work on a project that probably every semester you do have 7 different assessments for you to work on? How are you going to do that? So you should be able to probably, whatever that it's making you stressed in starting the process, you should be able to deal with that. And sometimes if it's just about not being able to get the ideas to be able to, you already have the experience that you want to write about, but if you don't know how to start it, you don't know where to pick it from. There's so many materials online. There's so many videos on YouTube that you can watch people share the experiences and how they started the process and all of that. And sometimes I can kind of relate to what you mean, but you need to start it. Sometimes also thinking too much about the fact that you are being distressed in starting the process actually doesn't make you start the process. But I will urge you to start it. When you start and you write your first sentence, you'll finish your first paragraph. Trust me, the remaining part of the essays will come together as and when you delve into those experiences that you already have them, as you have already said. But you need to sit down. That you have to do. You have to sit down, start the essay, write the first line, and trust me that the remaining lines will follow. But until you do that, you'll not be able to tell if you will be able to even complete writing the essays. But you have to sit down and do that.
Yes, thank you, Evan. And I heard some people are paying people money to write essays for them. Please don't do that, because let's even assume that you now manage, you sneak and get to the UK. When you go, there are days that I want to cry like this because the assessment, you will work, you will go to the library, you will even sleep in the library, sef.
Yeah.
You have to pay because you don't want to come here fully funded and you come and fail.
No.
You also want to come out with good grades. So you have to start paying the price from now, right? So, Asemota, please, your question.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. So I want to ask, so I have a BA in English and Literature. And but my work experience has always revolved around the development industry, TVETs in particular. So I've worked in fashion industries where I've helped to train people and all of that. So, but because I have a BA in English and Literature, and now I'm applying for an entrepreneurship course, entrepreneurship, innovation, and international business. So I'm a bit worried, like, because I don't have a background, like a BSc, all I have is a BA, would there be a problem? You know, I have a work experience to prove my new line, you know, which is in business and entrepreneurship and TVET and all of that. But because I don't have the undergraduate background of business and administration or any of the sciences, so I'm a bit worried. Is it going to be a problem for me, especially in my application to the schools?
Okay, I'll just answer you. It won't be a problem at all. Sorry, Evan. It won't be a problem at all because personally, I studied banking and finance in my undergraduate, and currently I'm doing international education and development because that's where I have passion. That's what I have passion for, and that's what I've spent the last 5 years of my life doing, really. So your undergraduate degree doesn't really play a role if you can adequately prove what you're passionate about, right? Evan, do you want to say something again?
No, it's just the same. I did my undergrad I did a combined major in theater arts with specialty in film and information studies. But I'm currently doing marketing with festivals and event management. So it really doesn't. It just comes back to the experience, the passion, what you want to do, and the evidence of what you've already done that propels you into wanting to do what you want to do. I think that should be fine.
Thank you.
Okay,
Please,
thank you
somebody
very
should
much.
raise their hands again. God will bless you. Don't raise your hand again. If you have any question, I'm seeing only 5 people on my screen. Those are the 5 questions I will take. If you have any question, just put it in the comments. I will answer your question in the comments. But I'll take only these 5 hands I can see. Salem, please ask your question.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. So thank you for the opportunity again. I just have a question. My question has to do with the official transcript that will probably be required for an individual to be sent as part of the document. So one thing is, most universities in Nigeria here don't usually give out official transcripts to students. They prefer to send it to the receiving university. So what I just want to know is how does one track it to know if it has been sent to the university or if the university has received it? If the school has received it from the university.
Okay, I've noted your question down. We'll answer it. Let me take another person. Keshika Lama. Keshika, please ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sorry, I was actually speaking, but I was on mute. Yeah. So my question is that there is a particular FCDO program that I could link to my career plans, but it comes to an end on March 2025. I would not have graduated by then. Is it still relevant for me to add that as, me supporting the program, supporting the initiative? That's my first question. Yeah. Do I move on to my next? Okay, yeah. So the next question is, do I need my transcripts to be in the UK standard? Is there any UK standard as such? And I'm from India, and my university gives me per semester mark sheets. Will they qualify as my transcripts for Chevening eventually when I need them?
Yeah.
Yeah. And my third question is, would either Janet or Evan be able to possibly review my final draft? I know that Madam Layo will not be able to do that since she's the program officer. Would that be possible? I am connected through LinkedIn if it is possible for either of you.
Can I answer that right away?
Sure, please. Evan, go ahead.
For my availability, unfortunately, no, at this point in time. Like, my schedule is really, really, really tight.
Yeah, I understand. That's fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry about that.
That's fine.
My schedule is crazy. You don't want to know. It's taking me a lot of sacrifice to do this. So I'll advise that you go on LinkedIn, look for Chevening scholars or alumni who are freer now, because now I'm focused on my academics and I'm very busy, that will be willing to help you look through your essay. And really, don't base all your mind that a Chevening scholar must review your essay. You have friends, give it to them, let them read it too.
Right.
Do you see?
Yeah.
Give it to other people around you who can also assess what you've written. You get. So I have friends who nobody reviewed their essay and they got in. So if you do all the recommendations we've been given and you put all those things into writing your essays, I'm sure your essays will come out great, okay? So we'll
Got
answer
it. Yeah, that's perfect.
questions later on. Let me pick somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
Kende, can you ask your question, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening. I want to in a special way appreciate you and the wonderful host we have here tonight. So Kende is my name, from Ekiti State, Nigeria. I have a couple of questions, and I guess the former speaker, sorry, the former participant that asked a question about someone to do a review of our essay has been responded to. But I wouldn't know if it's possible that maybe you have, thank God you said you have a Telegram page. So I wouldn't know if we have a panel of analysts on your page that could help people like us with review of our literature, story of our essays. That's just my first question. My second question is directed at the wonderful Mrs. Ladepo Layo. Now, my question goes thus. Ma, I am a postgraduate student at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, and I am still running my program, but I want to study the same course at master's level in UK through this scholarship. So I wouldn't know if writing it in my essay would increase my chances of being qualified for the scholarship or not. That's my question. And the last question goes to Mr. Evan, sorry, Scholar Evan. Now, my question is this, sir. Your mastery of English language is actually nice. I like the way you've been speaking so far. And my friends too, that are scholars, Chevening scholars, they speak excellently well too. So I just want to ask, is this proficiency in speaking English language the shortcut to winning this scholarship or not? That's just my question. Thank you very much.
Okay. Evan, answer now. You speak well. So me, I don't speak well, Abby. Ever answer the question?
Everybody speaks well now. How do I answer this question now? It's
Hey, ho, Sister Janet.
I don't think it has anything to do with that, honestly. That's the way I express myself, that's the way I speak. And even if I write, you get to know that I write like the way I speak. And I think that writing is just up to you to be able to just convince them on what you have done, you have achieved. And if honestly, if you've done it, you're passionate about, when you write it and someone is reading, they can actually sense all of these emotion and passion elements in the words. So I don't think it's necessarily the way I kind of speak or how other scholars do speak, but it's about the way others do express themselves in the writing of the essays. And then when you express yourself in the text, when you get to the interview stage, you should also be able to defend what you have written by now expressing all the things that you said you have done. And I think at the interview stage, which you are not there yet, I always say that for me, I actually cancel the word interview because of how traditionally it's been conceived as, I call it conversation. So I see myself as a project, right? That I want my boss to embark on. So it's up to me to go defend why I want them to be able to spend that amount of money on me as the project. And that's how I see it. And it kind of just take away all of those anxiety and all of those things that will likely make you make some petty mistakes, not because you're not good enough, but it's just because of how the environment of the interview comes with. And so I call it conversation, just going to pitch my project to my boss to be able to fund it. And at the end of the day, it turns out to be a great experience through it also. It's not just about the speaking of it, but it's everything that has to do with the entire process of you being able to tendering in a great application.
Thank you. Madam Layo, do you want to answer your question? The one he asked you. I don't know if you noted it down.
So was he saying that he's doing a PhD presently?
That's
our gentleman from Ekiti State, right? Did he say he's doing a PhD?
No, ma, it's not PhD, it's master's.
Oh, okay. So we had a similar question earlier on, where I also answered this question. So if you are able to convince us why you need another master's, in fact, you haven't completed your master's, right?
Yes,
ma'am. Are you
ma'am.
still in the process? So it's fine that you can apply for a master's, because it's not like you've even completed the master's. It's not like you've completed the master's already. So, and even if you had, it does not stop you from applying for a master's in the UK. It depends on how you're able to convince us why you think you need a second master's after you had done a first master's, even if it was in Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so we had other questions that we didn't answer earlier. I would just like us to take it. For the lady from India that said that she's still in school, but her transcript will not be ready by when Chevening will require it. That can she use the yearly transcript they give them in school to apply?
Sorry, Janet, just to, no. Let me just clear that question. It was regarding like my university does issue transcripts, but the ones that I get from my university are also mark sheets that I already have available. So do I separately request for the issuance of my university transcripts? Are they really going to be in a certain UK standard that I need to provide in? Because I do get my per semester mark sheets that have
Is it possible for your university to give you your complete transcript?
No, they give me per semester transcripts.
So you cannot request for your Are you done with school first of all?
I am, yes.
You're done. Okay, so you can you have your, maybe your course was 4 years. You have the 4 transcripts with you, right?
Yes, I have per semester, so I have all 6 transcripts with me. My course was 3 years long.
Then you can go ahead and scan it. Or if your school still wants to, I mean, it's on your school's heading, right? Their letterhead. It's showing your school
It
name and
is
everything.
my university, right? It is, but those are not transcripts in India. They're just mark sheets.
Sorry, can I say something here?
Sure.
Sorry. I know that we have the Chevening scheme in India, and I don't mind, trying to
Right.
find or link you with the program officer in India, because it would be clearer to her what you're asking.
Yes.
We are not very
Mhm.
sure about the system in India, so it would be wrong for us to advise you, because based on the way we do things here in Nigeria is different. It will be different in Accra.
Right.
So, I mean, Janet, you can provide my email address and let her send an email to me, and I can reach out to the secretariat, and they will link me with the Chevening program officer in India, and they can answer this question in detail, so that we don't give you the
Right.
wrong
Yes.
information.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yes, that would
So
really
please
help.
ensure
Thank
you
you.
join the Telegram group so you can get
Yeah, I'm in the Telegram group. Yes.
Thank you. So we've answered your questions, right?
Yeah, there was a second one relating to the FCDO program. Do you want me to repeat the question?
I think I got that question. You were trying to find out, okay, this program is about to end, and you are trying to
Right.
link your essay to this program, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's not about the program itself, but the fact that that is a priority for the UK in India, right?
Right.
Uh-huh. So the possibility is that there will be other programs, but at the point when you are making your application, you are referring to it. So it would be maybe in your short-term goal, but you can also identify that it could be this program or anything related to this program, something similar to that. Because it's a career plan. It's not something that you are so certain about. You can never be exactly sure about how it's going to pan out. You can assume that this is what you're going to do, but things can change. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. You understand?
Right.
So it's your thought process about why you are relating it to this particular program is because it is in a particular or is in a specific thematic area, I'm guessing. So, but even if that program is not existing anymore, is about to close, at the point when you're making the application, that is the only program that you are able to link your essay to. Well, that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Janet or Evan, if you have anything else to say about that.
I think you've
Yeah.
said it. I think you've said exactly what. Yeah.
Then someone also asked that how, like for universities that prefer to send the transcript directly to the schools that they're applying for, how do they know when the school in the UK has received the transcripts?
Oh, you have to communicate with the school. You have to keep. Have you received my transcripts? Please, I sent it the school sent it 4 weeks ago. Have you received it? You just have to follow up. It's just the normal thing, because our Nigerian system, I don't know why till now they still do it. That they can't give you. They have to send it. Well, I guess it's for security reasons to ensure
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
So you just have to follow up. And that means you have to do it on time because of the length of time that you have left between now and the deadline.
Yeah, thank you. So another question that was asked earlier was, when writing the career plan, that should she state how she intends to get the money to fund her career plans? Is it something to state in the career essay? Say, oh, I want to build a skyscraper. But if I'm the interviewer, I'm wondering, where do you want to get that kind of money? So she's asking if she should state where to get the funds to.
So I think in responding to that, I don't think in achieving your career goals, you necessarily need money. One of the things we always do forget, and that's why the essay on relationship building is really, really essential. Because at the end of the day, you're going to pay people the money. So if you don't have the money and you have the people, it means that you still can get the work done. And so you don't need to be worried about how much, because at this point in time, how would you even be able to tell how much it will cost you to achieve your goal in the next 10 years or in the next 5 years? You won't be able to tell that. But being able to understand the power of human relationship and how impactful that can be, that is where you can leverage on. And if you were able to really communicate your relationship building, your skill set, and able to create mutual relationships, that will give enough projection of the career goals that you have stated in your essay to be achievable. Then again, in putting your goals together, do not be worried about money. Be worried about how realistic your goal is, how achievable your goal is, how measurable your goal is. At the end of the day, what you want to do, can we is it realistic enough? Can we measure how it can be achieved, and will we be sure that you will actually be able to achieve that? And so when she said example, like you want to build a skyscraper, is it really something that is actually, or you want to become president? Yeah, we know we all aspire to become president one day or at a certain point in time, but do you think in the timelines you've given, it is something that is realistic enough for you to achieve? So I think gauge it around that matrix rather than how would you be able to fund it. Because if you're being realistic, I'm not sure you'll be able to fund it.
Yes, and I totally agree with you.
Obviously, your dreams are not big enough.
Yes, true. I agree with you. And that's when you should now state that. Let me just help you how you can frame that in when you're writing that part. You can now say, oh, I will leverage. Remember, your career plan, you're talking about the future. You're not talking about the past or the present, right? So you're talking about the future. So you can now frame it to say that you will leverage on the partnerships you will build while studying in the UK, and also your relationship with the Chevening alumni community, maybe the FCDO and the British High Commission, like that. So you can phrase it like that you're going to collaborate with them to achieve the project. Do you see? So instead of saying you want to get the money by yourself, saying you're going to leverage networks, collaboration. So with that, they can also see that when you get to the UK, you would build networks and relationships. Yeah, you another question that same person asked was for her leadership essay. She just went straight to the point, and in the end was when she said what leadership meant to her. She was asking if it was fine that way.
In that case, I would rather, instead of drawing that at the conclusion, I rather what it means to you, I'd rather put it first, because it's just about priorities as well. If it means service to you, I will tell you, leadership means service to me, and then explain how I've been able to render services to people or services to whoever benefit is due, to be able to just buttress that. And then at the end of the day, I will say, okay, yeah, I told you that. I showed you this. You see how it's connected,
yes.
roughly like that. So instead of waiting to conclude with what it means to you, start with that.
Excellent. And I totally agree with that. And remember, the people reading your essays, they are human beings too. And they have they have other applications to read. So you need to connect with them even from the very beginning. Okay, so she was also asking if she can write in a different document and paste. Yes, by all means, we usually advise that you don't type directly on the portal. So put it in maybe a Google document or a Microsoft Word document. Be sure that you are fine, you are okay with the essay before you paste it in.
Go and paste it in there, yes.
Okay, I think that's all that we have for pending questions. So
Somebody asked about PhD being sponsored after the Chevening Masters, and it's not allowed. You cannot be funded by Her Majesty's government more than once. So once you've got Chevening, you cannot go and apply for, well, I mean, wait, I have to be careful about how I say this. For people who apply for the Commonwealth Scholarship after Chevening, it works for them. But if you have gone on Commonwealth Scholarship before you apply for Chevening, you cannot apply for Chevening, because the one of the eligibility criteria is that you cannot have been funded by the UK government prior to this application. So I guess it depends on the order in which you do it.
Yes, and I think I get Cletus's question now. He was asking, Madam Layo, I have a former DG of a national institute here in Nigeria who is willing to provide me with a recommendation letter. Since I don't work with him directly, and like I was saying, I met him in early 2022, and ever since we forged a solid relationship. I have used him in my networking example too. Could it be a welcome development for Chevening to accept his recommendation letter? He has known me professionally and helped me scale up my impact and the change I champion in peace and conflict resolution.
Well, he's an obvious, personality that you would want to use as your referee, because even in your essay, you have been able to highlight this particular relationship. So why not, if not? We're just looking for someone who is going to be able to write about you, the relationship they have with you, what you've been able to do, how through the period that they've known you. Somebody that has something good to say about you and can vouch for you somehow or the other.
Thank you. So, Lovett, your question.
Oh, hi, good evening.
Hi.
Thank you so much for hosting this session. My question is related to, well, the essays generally and how to structure it in relation with the course I want to study. So in my education, I have a degree in engineering, production engineering. Then my professional experience is in software engineering, front end. But then I went to study a data science course. So throughout my essays, my leadership essay and my networking essay, I did not really mention anything about my data science because I don't have experience there, right? Either professional or otherwise, and except the courses I've taken online. And then, writing the course of study essay and then just like diary writing to talk about data science feels sort of abrupt to me. So I'm just like wondering if there is a way I can, better structure it to mention so that, when the reviewers get there, it won't be as if, oh, I'm just like throwing something unexpected at them.
Okay, I would say if for you are not really comfortable with the essay itself, how much more somebody else? Do you see? So if you, as the writer of the essay, is already having issues with, oh, I don't think, you're already minusing yourself before even submitting, you see, you might want to really go back and think through it. Is this really what I want to do? Do you get? You might want to really ask yourself that question. Why do you must have a strong why. Your why must be very strong as to why you want to do what you say you want to do, really. I don't know if we want to add anything.
No, that's all. You should be able to have answered all the questions before an external will even start to dig in. So if you yourself, you primarily do have some unanswered questions, it just gives you the hints that you should take extra time on yourself to just decide on exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'll take ASOS. I'll be ASOS. Please ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm Hesse. I'm from Iran, and at first, thank you so much for this valuable opportunity. I have three questions. The first one is, how can I say that I will be useful for Chevening in the future? Because my country has no political and economic relationship with England, and that's not really fun, but they are in war situation for about 40 years. The second one, and does the midterm career plan include 2 and 5 years in the future or 5 to 10 years in the future? Because I saw a different midterm career plan and I don't know which one should I choose them. And the last one, Is it necessary to mention the lesson I have learned at the end of each example of leadership and network essay because I have reached my word count?
What country are you from? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What country did you say you're from? I don't know. I don't know if we heard her, but I didn't hear what country she's from.
Yeah, I didn't hear that as well, but yeah, I think because she needs to check if the country itself is already eligible.
Yes, to be part of the
Yeah.
Yes, so I didn't get her question. So we'll take one last person. So any other person that has a question, please leave us your question in the Telegram group and we'll answer your question on the Telegram group. We'll answer your question in Telegram group. So I'll just take Blessing.
Sorry, I've got disconnected.
Yes. What country are you from?
I'm from Iran. It's in Middle East.
Iran. Okay. So what was your first question? If what?
I want to know how could I say that I'm useful for Chevening in the future because there is no political and economic relationship with England and Iran for about 40 years.
Okay, so do you know if Chevening has been existing in your country prior to now? Are there Chevening scholars from your country? Is
Yes.
this program working in your country?
Yes, about 2 or 3 each year, Chevening selected from Iran.
Okay, so if people are getting it, means you can get it too. You just have to put your best foot forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
So, Blessing, let's take your question, and this will be the last question. Every other question, please ask us in the Telegram group and we'll respond to it.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for all the insightful nuggets, everything. Thank you so much. So I want to confirm from the aspect of the CGPA because they said you have to impute your CGPA. I have not, in Nigeria, you have to apply for, particularly my school, Uniben, you have to apply for transcript before you get your CGPA. So, and based on the timeline for the application, I would not be able to meet up with the timeline if I start my transcript application right now and for them to deliver before I get my CGPA. So I don't know if it is a must that I include my CGPA in the application or I can just do without it.
Okay,
you get my question, please?
Yes, but I have not checked the new application. Maybe Madam Layo will help us with that.
I'm trying to, it's because it's locked me out, like that person was saying earlier on. I'm just trying to log back in and just go straight to that because I know that there are different options. The drop down has even other. I think it has other. That means you can choose other and explain something there. That's what I'm trying to get to. You understand? Let me see.
Yeah, but then I was also trying to say that you should know your CGPA as a student. You don't have to wait for or will they change it? It's still the same CGPA. So from your 100 level, you're already calculating your CGPA alongside. So
if it's something you can ask from your department and you know that it's going to be close to that by the time your transcript is ready, then maybe you just either feel that or you pick one of those drop downs that are not, where is it? Okay, sorry. Here we are. Anyway, I mean, maybe we should take another question. I'm trying to open the portal. I just want to see what the other options are because there were like there was like a list of 7 on the drop down.
Okay, so you advise to take one more question, right?
Yeah, just one more while I check this out. I'm almost done.
Okay, William, ask your question quickly, please.
Okay, good evening from here this evening. Thank you so much for all you do. I just need a little bit of clarity regarding I was going to ask the question concerning application for a master and then a PhD program, and then there was a response, but I didn't quite get the answer clearly. So I just needed to be clarified on that. Thank you.
You might want to ask your question again. What was the question?
The question concerning if somebody can apply and still reapply for Chevening scholarship for different programs.
No, Chevening scholarship is only for master's program. So if you're thinking of
a scholar can apply, is it possible?
You mean a scholar who has already been awarded Chevening scholarship for master's program can still apply for another funding for PhD from Chevening? Is that the question?
Exactly. That's the question.
No, Chevening only sponsors master's program. Not to the best of my knowledge, not PhD yet. So PhD conversation is not even part now. And I would just advise that first. I think if it's about you wanting to do your PhD, that's a conversation that you can have after you've done your master's. I will actually advise you to just concentrate on getting through with the master's first, and then you'll be able to explore other opportunities after that.
Thank you.
Okay, I've been able to open the portal. There's a drop down that says not yet available. So, I mean, at this point, if you don't know your GPA, you can say not yet available. And if you're able to get that transcript before, if you are sifted for interview, then you know that you need it and you can start the process now. But here in the drop down, you can pick not yet available.
Okay, ma.
Does that
Thank
work
you
for
so
you,
much.
Blessing? So that it allows you to move to the next
Thank you,
stage,
God.
you know? And then by the time your transcript is ready, then you can share that with the program officer that will be allocated to you if you do get the award.
Okay, ma. Thank you. I truly appreciate. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So please, every other person, kindly ask us your question in the Telegram group. So if you're here and you're not on the Telegram group yet, please click on the link in the chat and join the Telegram group. So this is where I will say thank you to our guest, Madam Layo and Evan, for taking our time. I mean, it's almost 3 hours. That's the thing with Shivnas is that they are always passionate people. They like to give back, give back. And that's what we've done tonight, just to see how we can provide guidance and help you guys. And we can't wait to hear your good news to say, yes, I've been invited for interview. This is what will give us joy, that at least our time with you guys wasn't a waste, right? So I'll just allow Ivan and Madam Layo give us final words in 1 minute each. Just, seal up our 1 month mentorship. It's been back to back every Saturday. Let them give us final words. And somebody from you will say thank you to them and we'll close tonight. So anybody that wants to say thank you, please, the rest of us, put your hands down so I can see the people that wants to
Maybe
say.
I might take 2 minutes. The first minute is I'm actually going to say that you guys have been quite lucky to have gone through all of these experiences, and also probably on your final day get opportunity to have conversation with someone like Madam Layo. I never had anything like that. I never did. I never did. So I think that should give you enough energy that people are always ready to support you, and so you also should be able to do the very minimum in supporting yourself by doing the groundwork and making sure that you tender in application that is worthy to be globally competitive and put you ahead of the competition. Again, one thing for me, I just want to assure you is that Chevening is real. Look, even until the day that you probably get on your flight to get to the UK, you might still think that you are still actually dreaming. And even throughout the process, even for me now, it still feels like a dream because there's so many things that I've been able to achieve within 1 year that I came here. Within just 1 year that I came here, I've been able to achieve so much that gives you the evidence of what Chevening can do for you. And at the end of the day, the very best barest minimum that you can do to support yourself is being able to do the groundwork to just make sure that you put in the very best that you can. And I wish you all the best, and I look forward to hearing your great stories.
Thank you so much, Evan. Madam Layo.
Okay, so for me, I mean, I say this, when I join any of these sessions, the first thing is that you shouldn't give up on your dream. If you want this scholarship, then always try and push, to the limit and see where that gets you. That doesn't mean you should put all of your eggs into one basket. I think it's also good that you try out different types of scholarships even while you wait for this one, because it would even strengthen your essays. It will strengthen your application processes because you're getting a feel of different types. You have to keep up the fighting spirit, because I know for some people who have joined now, this might not be their first time, it might not be their second time. Janet has even used herself as an example. She applied 3 times, so if you really want this, you have to fight for it because it's very competitive. But if you are able to reflect on the past and see where your errors might have been, then it gives you a chance to write a stronger essay. Keep looking for help, seek advice. And Janet was saying earlier on, it's not all the time that you might get a Chevening alumna or alumnus to look at your applications, but at least if you have somebody that is a mentor that is in high standing, that might not be a Chevener, but has had experience with maybe reading essays and things like that, you can also check with them and then be confident in yourself. If you also feel that you have gotten to a point where you think you don't have enough to submit a strong application, don't just force yourself and submit just because you want to submit. You can create a dummy application like I've done myself, try it out, and then say to yourself that by next year, when the application portal opens again in August, I will definitely submit, and start building your experience, start highlighting your strengths, start looking at the best ways to submit a very strong application so that you're not disappointed when you get the love letter that they call, Then go online and follow Chevening scholars. There's so much out there on social media, on YouTube. People are sharing all kinds of videos. They're very helpful. I mean, you might not be able to catch everything from one video, but you might catch something. So also sample all of those things, and that's where the research comes in, So please do your best, put your best foot forward, and if it's meant to be, you will get it. People get it. Janet got it, Evan got it, people get it, and it's not a dream, it does happen. People actually do get the scholarship. You just have to be persistent and put in your best, and you will get it. So good luck to all of you. And as I always say, I'll see you on the other side for those of you who make it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
I'll just take one person, give us feedback from the session and say thank you to our guests for us. So one person will start quickly. Just raise your hands, I'll allow you to speak. For the rest of us who have questions, don't worry. We have Chevening Scholars Alumni on the Telegram group that will answer your question, okay? So 2 people are raising their hands. So quickly, 30 seconds, give us feedback of the session and say thank you to me or to our guests for tonight. So Keshika, 30 seconds.
Yes. Hello. I think this has been so helpful. All of my questions were answered, and I could really, understand what I was supposed to do in areas that I was stuck in. So I'm just really grateful. Thank you so much to all the 3 of you. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Madam Layo and Evan. Thank you so much. It was great.
All the best. Okay, Titi Layo, feedback. Thank yous.
All right, thanks so much for the opportunity to do this at this time. I want to say a very big thank you to Madam Layo for creating time out of no time to be here this evening. Same with the scholars, Janet and Evan. You said so many things this evening and I've learned a lot. However, I dropped a question in the comments. I was thinking you were in the chat. I thought you were going to respond to it, but
it's
I'll
fine.
ask
It's in the Telegram group.
Telegram group. All right. Thanks so much. You all are well appreciated.
Thank you. these two other people, you want to thank us, or we should, why are your hands up? If it's not thank you, fighting. Okay. Thierry, you want to give feedback, right?
Hello, did you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my name is Cherry. I would like to say thank you for having the time for us. This moment is very good for me, very interesting. I have a professional degree in computer engineering, and I would like to know if I'm supposed to talk about my secondary studies and my baccalaureate in this process.
I didn't hear you clearly,
That's
but you can drop that question in the Telegram group. I'll attend to it there myself. So thank you, everyone. Please make sure you join the Telegram group. Like I said, we have over 5,000 people there. You'll be able to interact, meet people from different parts of the world, share your experiences, learn from them as well. And for me, Evan and Madam Layo, we say thank you, everyone, for joining, and we wish you the very best. Not to worry, the recording of this session will be shared on the Telegram group as well. And I'll see you when you get the email to come for interviews. Bye, everyone. Good night. Bye.
Bye.